Okay, so I'm only 5 minutes late to my own live stream. Oh, and I'm getting texts, of course. Um, okay, all right, all right. So, how's it going, everybody? Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. If you're wondering, you know, in case you didn't read the title and you just somehow magically ended up on this live stream, um, well, we're going to be talking about why the terminal is not scary. Um, because a common misconception is that it's real scary. It's a real dangerous place to be. You could destroy your entire life inside of the terminal. And while that is technically true, not really. Because if we're being completely accurate, to really destroy your entire computer, you don't need a terminal. You could use a GUI application, just be in your file browser and just delete a whole bunch of your root folder. I mean, it's probably not going to make it easy for you, but you still can. So you don't need a terminal to destroy your computer. And the terminal itself is not at all scary. It's really not. The terminal, just a common misconception about the terminal is that it's super easy to destroy your computer not knowing anything. And that's really not the case, because if you're somebody who's just plopped into a terminal, you're unfamiliar with terminal commands in general, you are not going to be just automatically running terminal commands that, delete your system and shit like that. That's just no. If you don't even know what the ls command is, you're not going to be running a command that like rm r-rf and just recursively deleting your entire hard drive. That's not going to happen. Interesting. So the coffee that I have here is very interesting. We got a variety pack of K-Cups, and one of them just had a question mark on it. And so that's what I'm drinking, just question mark. Now, the pack came with a whole bunch of other stuff that wasn't just coffee, like junior mints, like cocoa and stuff like that. But this was coffee, but it's like Christmas coffee or something. It tastes like peppermint or something in it. I mean, it's not bad, but whatever. So, terminal. It's not a scary place. There's no reason for it to be scary. By the way, if you're reading this whiteboard back here, I just did a recent video on how to actually name FOSS software. It's a little satirical thing because, here inside of the FOSS community, we like to name programs stuff that just can't be said or is ridiculous. I should really get a bigger eraser, I don't know why I'm erasing this whiteboard, because as far as I know, we're not going to really do anything with it, but why not? Okay. Or, here's a nifty idea: erasing the whiteboard before the live stream starts. That's also a good one too. But the terminal's not scary. Don't be scared of the terminal. There's no reason to be scared of it. It's quite frankly a very nice place to live in. Yeah, there's like, to me, it's funny that there are as many people out there that are completely horrified of the terminal and think it's going to like destroy their lives. To me, that's just it's really funny because it's not something you ever really need to be scared of. But to each their own, you know? Like, if you're scared of the terminal, look, the only reason you're scared of it is because you're not familiar with it. And that's fine. Like, we're all unfamiliar with stuff. But here's the most important thing to remember. You are not going to destroy your computer just popping in the terminal and trying shit. Like, the odds that you are going to type RM space dash RF and then press enter trying to do stuff is pretty low. And if we're being honest, the amount of douchebags around nowadays that tell you to try that, those, I haven't ever encountered one of those. I feel like those people are pretty much non-existent nowadays. But if you are just now popping into the stream, one, welcome. 2, if you're unfamiliar with me, my name's Tyler. I go by Zany Online, and I make videos about Linux. And today we're going to just be talking, demystifying the terminal, making sure that you don't feel scared about it. I've been essentially just rambling for the past little bit, waiting for at least some people to get on in here because I was 5 minutes late to my own stream because I'm fashionably late to my own shit, I guess. Now, what are some beginner commands for new users to know? If you're somebody who uses Linux on the daily, go ahead and throw in some new user-friendly commands. I'm going to start us off with ls and cd. I have those up there, even though you can probably not even see them. Who cares? ls and cd. Those are the two commands that we're going to start off showing off. And let me pop on over into my scene view. And this, I know, is going to be a little jarring. Let's get rid of that. Now let's open up a terminal. All right. So now, first things first, cd. cd is change directory. So if we cd'd into, I have a folder called Gemini. So if we cd into that folder, now if I do the next command, ls, that is going to list out everything inside of that directory. So cd, change directory, ls, list. Both of these, like essentially every terminal command that you have, it's going to have what are called flags or options or whatever. You're just going to, they're different options, you know, for the program. So ls has ls-a, and that's going to do all. Now again, I don't have any really hidden files in here, but you see the dot up there, that's changing directories. But either way, you don't really got to think about it. There's all commands. So if I was to create something like let's just do touch and let's make a hidden file, we'll just call it hidden. So if I ls here, you'll see actually let's get rid of that and let me go ahead and just make this bigger. So if I ls now, you'll see we just have 3 folders and a file in here called index. Now, if we do ls-a, we're going to get the .hidden file right here. So it's going to show all the files. That's what that flag is for. And then ls-al, or just adding the L flag, if we were to do that one, you'll see we don't see the hidden file, but we get our files in a actual list. They're not just spat out in a line or series of lines like before. They'll be put in a proper list, and you also get some more information about the files. Now, if we do ls-al so both of those together, you'll see we still get it in a list, and we get our hidden file right here. Perfect. Epic. Cool. Not really hard. Now, inside of the terminal, here's a couple things when it comes to cd that come real in handy. Cd and .. will move you up a folder. really handy. Or excuse me, I think I got that wrong. Hold on. We'll CD into Gemini, and we'll CD. I could have done that all as one command, but who cares? We'll CD into the log folder, and if I do CD dot dot, you'll see we go up one folder. Yep, so I was right. Okay, cool. I said that, then I was like, wait, let me make sure that I'm right about that, because I have mine alias. So now if I just do dot dot, it'll just take me up. I don't even have to add the CD part. But now I went on a little tangent there. So again, if you're new to the terminal and you're like, alias, what does that mean? So inside of your terminal, you can alias a different program. So let me go ahead and I will open up, if I Vim, which is, again, if you're new to the terminal and everything, Vim is a text editor. It's a terminal-based text editor. It's fantastic. Recommend you checking it out. We'll Vim into my .bash rc file. And this is the config file for Bash, which is the born again shell, and that's the shell that almost every Linux distribution is going to default to using. So if we go in here, you'll see this is my little config file. I've got a ASCII art at the top because I'm unnecessarily gaudy like that. And then inside of here, I've got, you'll see some stuff in here that doesn't really matter. I've got this little function here that will run different commands on different files, and all I have to do is type ex to be able to do that. That's not really that important. Here's what we're talking about, my aliases section. So I have alias, you can see alias here. So I have alias dot dot to be equal to cd space dot dot. My ls command, you saw, if we go back here, you see these files or the icons here, that comes from, and the color here in this ls command, that all comes from, I'm not actually using ls. I have ls aliased to lsd, which is not the drug. It is a terminal program called ls deluxe, and that is just a fancier version of ls. Nothing too special there, but you can see I've got more stuff alias down in here, like Pacman. So if I want to install something, I don't have to type out sudo pacman. I can just type p and then space -s or -r to install or remove a program. If I want to update, I can just type pack syu, and that updates my system for me. Vims, and then sv for if I need to Vim into a program and I need to be root doing it, stuff like that. You know, you can have aliases set up. So yeah, the only thing that you want to make sure that you never type in the terminal is this command right here. That command right there. Never, ever, ever type that out and press enter. You'll have a very, very bad day. And that's essentially the only thing that you really have to worry about really bad when it comes to your life in the terminal, because again, you're not going to be doing stuff that just ruins your computer 99% of the time. That's just not. Oh, get back over here and switch back to my webcam. There we go. All right. So yeah, you're not really going to be doing stuff that's it's going to ruin your computer. It's just not that likely. Messing around in the terminal can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. There's no reason why messing around in the terminal has to be a nerve-wracking experience. The only reason it's really nerve-wracking, I feel like, in my opinion, for new users, is that there's plenty of people who have told you that, you know, the terminal is safe, but like there, you know, there's always that asterisk on the end. And really, in all honesty, that but at the end is not necessary. I mean, it's just as safe as using a file browser. Yeah, you can destroy your system using a file browser on just about any OS as well. Again, the odds of a new user doing it, pretty low. The terminal is nothing that you have to be scared of. Now, if you're watching this now and you're a new Linux user, Terminal for Life, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Now, if you're a new Linux user and you're watching this and you're like, well, I'm not scared of the terminal, but I do would like to, or I do want to know something, or I would like to know something, post in chat, feel free. Terminal for life. So I'm talking about the terminal and how it shouldn't be scary. Let me know, in your opinion, is there absolutely anything when it comes to the terminal that a new Linux user needs to know right away to not completely bork their system? The only thing that I have said is just don't run the rm-rf command. That's it. Because I don't really think there's anything else than that you can really do right off the bat, just trying to mess around in the terminal with knowing very little. Like maybe you know how to use the ls and cd command. I mean, like if you have very basic knowledge, I don't think you're going to be tinkering around and trying stuff that just destroys your entire system. You know, that's just me personally. But yeah, oh gosh, my legs. Oh, this is exactly what I was wanting. Oh, epic, epic. Oh, I feel you. I feel you. Epic, epic. Yeah, I've had a little bit of a long day too. I'm glad you actually brought that up. So just in case anyone pops in here and they're like, dude, what's going on with his eye? Just know I made a video on it. It's on my channel. You can go watch it, but I'll talk about it here for a second. My eye got infected because I wear contacts. I went and saw my ophthalmologist today, and luckily, I don't have to do an hourly eye drops anymore. Now I'm just doing them 3 times a day. And I've already done it twice, but I had to go out, see my ophthalmologist. We did a few errands. Yeah, it's fantastic that my eye's getting better. It doesn't hurt, but it's still a little swollen. It's still like, is a little light sensitive. It's not too bad, but like even my light here in front of me, it has to be like I have to keep the window open a bit because I can't turn it up to the normal brightness I would keep it at because it's still just a little bit too bright for my eye. There are a few things really. Knowing some of the dangerous commands like RM, yep, and DD is pretty important. Well, I agree with you there. DD, not as much, only because I am somebody who has used Linux for a long time, and I've actually never used the DD command. Not because I have some like a reason to never use it or anything, but I mean, a lot of the times when it comes to doing stuff with formatting or using another drive, I use stuff like Balena Etcher and stuff like that. I just like GUIs if I'm going to be making a USB. I've always liked using GUIs only because normally when I'm making like USB drives like that, I'm doing it for someone else and I want to show them, you know, something that they can use to flash Linux on a drive some other time by themselves. Balena or Etcher, whatever you want to call it, is a great program for that. But yeah, I agree with you. Those two are pretty big. Just knowing to not run those. I'd also say that a user should be wary of blindly copying and pasting commands, especially like something as sudo is used. I agree. However, here's the thing. If you're a new user and you're going to be blindly copying and pasting stuff into your terminal, I always recommend that you're doing it from somewhere that you trust. As long as you're copying commands from something like, say, Steam or like an Ubuntu page on like that's an official Ubuntu page, how to install something or whatever, you're going to be fine there. If you're going from somewhere like Reddit or somewhere like that, you need to do a little bit more research into that command and make sure that you're not doing something shady. You know, because again, your terminal is essentially, well, when it comes to doing stuff in your terminal with sudo, you're running with it. Again, this is for a new user. You're running as administrator, so just ensure you know what you're doing. Yeah, so talked about the eye. No. I don't prefer GUIs. I don't prefer GUIs. I just prefer GUIs when I'm going to be showing someone something that they're probably going to do in the future by themselves. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, when it comes to GUIs, I always like GUIs for showing somebody how to do something later on, because most people are going to learn about the terminal on their own. I found in general, people don't want to sit down, like a class type environment for the terminal is not as fun as researching the terminal on stuff that you want to get done in the terminal. Like your videos are a great example of showing somebody how to use the terminal on their own terms. They come to your channel, they find a video on something that they want to do or on something they're curious about, and they'll actually try it out with you during watch your video. If I sit next to them and try to show them different things that they'll, that are useful in the terminal, it just doesn't stick as well. That's just been my experience. Ah, yes, yes, yes. So limiting actions as root, very good, very good. That's pretty much going to be a really good way of not destroying stuff. Again, unless you're doing that rm-rf command, that's going to really fuck up your day. You're really going to not like your day after that one. But you are right. I'm going to write that in big words back here. Big words. Okay, so 2 commands that you absolutely didn't need to know is the man command. Okay, there are so many new Linux users who don't know that this thing exists. Okay, like there are manual pages for almost every program that you're going to install. Like, you would be surprised. There are very, very few programs that you're going to use that don't have manual pages. You'll find some obscure, weird tool that's for some hyper niche thing, and it will still have a man page. So, for the new user who's listening to this, how you use this command is man and then the name of the program or command that you are interested in knowing what, how to use it, what it's about, description, all that stuff. It'll be in the manual page. Extra flags for options and stuff like that, all of it will be in man. And now, if you do man name a program and there's no manual page for it, that's fine. That's fine. Try after the command. Or so, like, let's say in this scenario you're trying to run, I'm trying to think of a good one, PACTL. If you don't know what that is the pulse audio control for the terminal. You can control pulse audio using that command. If you, let's just say they didn't have a manual entry for it, you could do -- help. And for some reason, there are some weird programs out there that -- help is not needed. You can just do -help. But it's the same thing. -- or -help. And it should also have some, it probably won't be as full-fledged as a manual entry would be, but it'll have all the extra options and explanation for different things will all be there. So these two right here are critical for getting information on programs that you have installed, and they're super easy. Yes, whiteboard time, as always. Man RM, yep. Add -- and -h2. Because even when there's no man page, those flags are critical. Yep, yes they are. And again, any program that you use will have at the very least one of these, if not both. Almost every single one has it. So Terminal for Life, since your channel is all about, well, the terminal, as a new user, like as a brand new user and just getting your feet wet in the terminal, what were the first 3 commands that were just super nifty that you found? that's not necessarily that you've used to this day the most, but at the time were super helpful, super cool, and helped you out. Just doing stuff in the terminal. For me, my first 3 commands that were like epic. Again, all of these is weird, but whatever. And now in these 3 commands, there'll also be stuff that might not be installed on your system out of default. Git was the first one. Again, Git is not necessarily something that's going to be on your distribution out of the gate. Always, a lot of distributions come with Git already in there, but Git is essentially like what you need for pulling down, like, GitHub repositories, GitLab repositories, just pulling down stuff, and that's insanely useful. And I mean, just it's way better than having to use a browser and download. Like, it's nice, it's super fast. So Git was insanely helpful. LSD. Over ls, I mean, obviously the ls command is critical. It's insanely useful, because not a lot of people know this, but you don't actually, on Linux, there's no real reason to have a file browser. Like, you don't need a file browser program if you're very fluent in the terminal. You can, they're nice, but you don't need one. Just depends. If you're doing a lot of file management all the time, yeah, you probably want either a terminal or, GUI based file browser. It just makes sense if you're doing a lot of file management, but you don't necessarily need it. So the ls and mv or move command, those make up, that's my 3 top commands: Git, ls, and mv. Critical and all very awesome. Funny enough, DD was one of them. Yeah, DD is great. Well, it led to over 800 gigabyte loss. Damn, that sucks. No. Yeah, DD is a great way of putting ISOs on flash drives. That's all which comes to mind. We're talking 7 years ago, so it's been a while. Yeah. Yep. Oh, awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, yeah. Hopefully people will come in, and maybe, just maybe, somebody who needs this will pop in here and get some valuable information. To be honest, that's always sort of the goal of these types of live streams, is just hopefully we have somebody come in lurking in the background and who's like, doesn't think this is going to be super informational and happens to come away with something that's useful. Sort of the goal. That, and also like us just BSing around, having a good time. That's really, like, those 2 things are really, really what a live stream's about. Yeah. I mean, every live stream has to de-evolve after an hour, so it has to. It can't just stay educational and on topic. That would just be nuts. That would be crazy. Not around here. No. Never. I'm trying to think. Because this topic, the terminal not being scary, is not a topic that can go on for super long, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, the terminal just, it isn't scary. Like, actually, can we just, since apparently me and you were the only ones communicating back and forth here. By the way, I did a really good job today. I remembered to turn on ultra low latency on the chat so we can have a super fast and back and forth chat. But to me, I feel like it's really crazy that the terminal is seen as like this beast that, it's like, it's nerve-wracking to get into, or it's hyper complicated. To me, that whole notion of it is crazy. Yeah, and see, here's the reason I didn't make this just a video. I don't know how to properly articulate it not being scary, because it's really not. I think the reason that it's scary for a lot of people is they see videos talking about how the terminal is not scary, and in every video they're like, okay, look, the terminal, you can't really destroy your system, but, or asterisk, you know, don't run DD or RM-RF, and they're like, well, how do I know if I should run that or whatever? Like, again, if you're a new user watching this, you're never going to pop into if you don't know what you're doing, you're never going to pop into a terminal and run a command that you don't know and that you also don't know what does. You're just not. The only time that's going to happen to you is if someone tells you to run a command and there's somebody who is a douchebag and you do it. And so again, as a new user, just make sure if you're going to copy and paste a command blindly into the terminal, you either look up the command and see what it does, or you really trust the other person. Like, that person needs to be a friend who would not ever send you a command that wipes your entire hard drive. You know, like, because on the internet, we all know that those douchebags do exist. They live sadly fine lives, and also almost always live to see another day to ruin another person's day. It's great, but just keep an eye out for those guys and don't blindly just paste stuff into the terminal. Yeah. Yes, yes. Thank you. Yeah, see, the thing about a new user is a lot of them also don't understand, like, you can do just as much damage to your system in a file browser that you can do inside of the terminal. Like, just because you're inside of the terminal and you're left with, like, hold on, let me just remove this. Okay, so you just load up into a terminal. Here's your terminal screen, and you're just left with a bloggity bloop right here and a little terminal line and just like a blinking line right here. I don't know why, but just sitting at this blank screen right here for so many people is just horrifying, because like they have infinite possibilities. Like, do I want to wipe my drive? Do I want to, like, what, like, I can do anything from here, so what do I do? I feel like that's really the big scary part for a lot of people. And respect the terminal just as you respect the power of your car. Exactly. Same. But I think the reason that it's really hard to articulate the idea of it being scary for us is we already know some, like, I am not nearly as knowledgeable about the terminal as you are. Like, let's just be completely honest. I am nowhere near as knowledgeable about the terminal as you are. However, both of us have a good foundation for using the terminal. So even if you're left at this beautiful blank screen here, we know some of the things that you can do. Like, I mean, even you, as knowledgeable as you are, you can't tell me that you know everything that you could do in a terminal, because that's like, you could do, dude, like, here's the crazy thing. I've heard people talking about it. There is, technically speaking, a way where you could write a program for the terminal and run it and have it essentially check like a YouTube video or even a movie. Like, let's say you had a copy of a movie. You could run a program that uses binary data and continue to build randomly, essentially randomly generate a file and continue checking it against a movie until you get to the point where you have randomly generated a Marvel movie. You could do that. I don't know how in the frick you would go about doing it, but I know you can. That's the whole thing about the terminal, where if you have no foundation, there's infinite possibilities. It's like being an 8-year-old and you've just been given a massive handful of like mushrooms. So like the entire world and reality itself is like splitting open, and you're like, I haven't even hit puberty yet. Like I don't know what I'm doing. How did I get here? What is going on? Like I feel like that's sort of the scary part about the terminal. Not that it is in fact scary, it's just there's so much that you can do. Where do I start? Where's the best place to learn how to use the terminal, or more accurately, learn what's beneficial for that user? Sorry, that light is, again, eye is a little light sensitive, so I'm going to actually turn this bad boy down a little bit. Okay, or off, that's something. Yeah, turn it down a little bit more. Yeah, it's much better. Much, much better. I'm knowledgeable, not Superman. Well, see, and see, that's another thing too. I have really enjoyed making Linux content and being devoting a lot of my time to the Linux community, because, like, for one, even on YouTube, just because I'm in this community, the amount of people that are actually, I don't know, I would just say good and normal people is mind-blowing compared to almost every other niche out there. Like, there are not many people who are as knowledgeable as you, and also honest about their knowledgeability on a topic, because a lot of other people in a lot of other niches do not be as genuine as people in the Linux community. Also, I don't know where the whole like people inside of the Linux space are not friendly thing comes from. I don't know. I'm an Arch user, and I've never even had people be rude to me for asking a stupid question. I know it happens to people, but I've never had it happen to me. And trust me when I say I've asked some pretty stupid questions. Oh, I don't actually have to keep a phone timer set anymore. So I went to the ophthalmologist, and I only have to take my eye drops 3 times a day now. Still have to do both of them, but now only 3 times. So I've done my morning one, my midday one. I did that right before. Well, I was doing it regularly until I went to see my ophthalmologist every hour. But then as soon as I saw him, I don't have to do it again until a little bit before bed tonight. And then tomorrow, just morning, lunchtime, and then before I go to bed. So much better than the hour. Yes, I'm so happy about it. Could not be happier. Could not. But that's like when it comes to the Linux space, I genuinely think it's very funny how much shit the Linux community gets from other people who really haven't interacted with the community, but they've heard about the community. That to me is always really funny, because if you notice, a lot of the real mainstream, like heavy actual complaints against the Linux community are from people who aren't in the Linux community and have maybe had 3 to 4 interactions with the Linux community. And like, let's be honest, if your track record is 2 good experiences but 1 really bad one with Linux, that's muddy in the water pretty damn good. Like I don't know. I haven't had the bad experience of people not wanting to like. I mean, there are so many resources for learning how to use the terminal, and the terminal is one of those things where everyone always considers it this like elitist thing. Like if you're good at using the terminal, like you must think you're some elite personality who can't talk to somebody who uses Windows. Like, no. And here's also a whole nother thing about people who talk about, like, Linux would be better if more people used it, or we need more Linux adoption. Like, for one, No. No. If 50% of the world was using Linux on their desktops tomorrow, would it benefit me at all? No. Actually, there's a good chance it could hurt me, because that means Linux becomes a much higher target for viruses and stuff. No. Microsoft and their shitty software can keep all of the attention. Let all of the malicious intent go straight to that POS software. Like, it's already garbage in the first place. Like, I have had Windows engineers talk with me about Windows. I made some pretty inflammatory videos about Windows, and I have had Windows engineers reach out, and even they don't fully disagree with me calling Windows a piece of shit software. Most of them just have like one or two reasons as to why industry-wise Windows makes sense, but they don't disagree with Windows being really bad. Oh, yes. Yes. Good point. The idea that it's archaic. That's great. That's effing awesome to me. I'm glad you said that. Okay. It's archaic. What? What? Like, that's the same argument as saying needing to pee or poop is archaic. Like, just because you decide that we're modern now doesn't mean you have to stop like, what? That's so stupid. Like, okay, whatever you're doing outside of the terminal, it is, the way it's working is by a terminal. Like, what? Like, Greek is archaic, but that doesn't mean it's still not spoken. Like, and even calling it archaic is not really true. It's just old. I don't know. Like, I mean, the rule of thumb, like, if that's how big the stick that you beat your wife can be, like, yeah, that's archaic. But what? And by the way, that's a wives' tale. It's not really a real thing. Whatever. I differ from you there. I'm happy for new users to come to Linux. I don't think more eyes on Linux is going to screw us over. As you know, most of the world uses Linux. Yes. But here's what I'm gonna say. So, you're happy for new users to come over to Linux. I never said I wasn't happy for new users to come over to Linux. But does it improve your Linux experience any if there are more people using it? No, it doesn't. You can't argue to me that Joe Schmo in Africa using Linux benefits you at all. However, Joe Schmo deciding to use Linux benefits him. So it's a good thing when people start using Linux. However, unlike Windows or Mac, where we're not really a community, but a company driven by profit, it benefits us no way if more people start using it. It's nice because there's a chance that one of those people will one day decide to start, maintaining something, developing for Linux. It's nice, but it doesn't, just getting the average grandma to start using Linux does not benefit the Linux community at all. It benefits her. That's great. She will benefit from Linux in many ways. I mean, we could go on for a while about how beneficial Linux is, but yeah. PowerShell. Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I've never really seen a benefit from using PowerShell, because also if you, like, I don't really, what is a Windows power user? Like, what does that mean? Like, at what point do you become because, like, here's the thing too. What makes you a Linux power user? Like, is it is in Windows, if you understand what a terminal is and how to enter text commands, does that make you a power user? Because I am in no way considering myself a Linux power user. However, I use tiling window managers and I know how to use the terminal. So you might consider me a power user, but I would call that woefully inaccurate. Yes, we'll see. And well, hold on. I almost said yes to that, but my grandmother, my grandfather, my sister just got a MacBook, but that's a little different. She had to use Windows because of her school, and then because she was being forced into using Windows, and she's already got an iPhone, she decided to get a Mac. But whatever. My sister is the one odd one out here, but my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mother use Linux. They don't really spread the word. There's a chance they could, but to be honest, if you ask my grandmother what operating system or what her computer runs, she'd tell you to ask me. So I don't know about that one, but it is beneficial for them. They like it. I mean, my mom loves the fact that her computer never just is randomly turning off, or she can't do what she needs to do because it's updating. That's always great. But yeah, and I agree with you, Bjorn. I agree. Yes. Even Windows users do, but the number of Windows users that use the shell is really low. It's really low because on Windows, I don't even think there are almost any programs out there that would even require anything like you to pop into the PowerShell and do anything. Where on Linux, there's quite a few programs that, especially if they're more obscure, you're going to have to install into the terminal. So you're going to at least have to dabble in it from time to time. And like, as people would say that's a bad thing, it's not a bad thing. The terminal is very fast. It's very simple. And if you're installing a piece of software that you already trust, copying and pasting the commands that they recommend on their website isn't like that. I can't understand that being a problem, and that it's not a hassle. Like the 10 seconds that you would have just been sitting staring at an installer, just going through the terminal command, like it's really not that big of a deal. I don't even think it is a deal to even be discussed, but whatever. Like, I mean, people will argue that having to go into the terminal and do anything is a sin, but people will be people. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Linux shell gets a lot of shit just because it's so prevalent, but it's not a real concern for most people. The terminal, that you use, whether it be on any operating system like Mac, Linux, Windows, the terminal on all of those aren't scary. Like when you load up the PowerShell on Windows, I assume most users don't look at it and holy bejesus, I could destroy my entire computer here, because at least I would assume most Windows believers or Windows users believe that Microsoft have their best interest at heart, which, I mean, I hope not, but I assume most people who are like smiling when they use Windows, like, let's just say you're that type of person out there that smiles when you see the like Windows boot logo come up. I assume that you don't think Microsoft could let something bad happen in the shell, which is obviously not the case, but why wouldn't that person feel just as comfortable in the Linux shell? Like, you're not going to load it up and then accidentally press F and just wipe your entire hard drive. That's not how the terminal works. Like, even though it's super simple and super easy, it's super easy to get stuff done. It's super easy to break your system, but you still need to know what to enter, or ignorantly copy, you know, your buddy sending you, like your prankster buddy who sends you shit all the time, sends you a command to run, like you probably should Google it first before you run it. Just saying, like that's about the only way you're gonna fork your system is just, again, by some douchebag sends you something you shouldn't run in the first place. Yeah, okay, let's talk about that one. The terminal is not intuitive. What? That's not true. That I hear that argument all the time, but the terminal not being intuitive because it doesn't have buttons is the most stupid. All right, let's say, hold on. Let's talk about that because I love that from a new user's perspective. Okay, let's say you know how we were talking about earlier how for some Linux users they get plopped into the terminal and they just see that blinking cursor and infinite possibilities, and that's what's scary. Now let me show you a true nightmare. Let's say that you had the terminal and you wanted to add a button for every single thing you could do inside of the terminal. Would there be any room on your screen left that's not button? There would just be, you'd just be scrolling through infinite buttons. And then here's the even worse part. Every button, when you clicked on it, there would be more buttons because each thing that you're going to run in the terminal has options. So talk about a true effing nightmare. That would be the terminal as a GUI. That would be horrific. I would straight up burn my computer. There would be no reason to use it anymore. Like, it's not intuitive. It's just, okay, first off, when you're plopped into a terminal, figure out what you want to do. If you just open up a terminal and you're scared because you don't know what to do, that's cool. Figure out what you want to do first. You want to copy a file? You want to move a file? You want to check what's in some directory? Whatever. Figure out what you want to do first. Cool. And then Google, or, you know, again, Google has become synonymous with searching, which is horrible because, I mean, Google is, well, essentially a real life representation of Satan, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, just search it online. You can use DuckDuckGo, which, let's be honest, you're probably not going to find the answer at the top of the search page results, but you scroll 5 down, you'll find it. You can use something like Google, search your question, you'll find it. And then here's the best thing. Let's say you searched how to see what's in a directory in the terminal, and they said ls, and you didn't trust that response. You could Google, what does ls do in Linux? And then you could find a page that explains what the ls command does. And if it matches up with what that person said it did or what you want it to do, run it. You're 100% safe. And that, boys and girls, is how all of us learn how to use the terminal. That's it. Figure out what you want to do, learn the command for it, and then go on about your merry business. It's called learning. It's a foreign concept nowadays, but it's, well, again, see, terminal for life. What I'm saying here is if you don't know what you want to do, if you don't know what you want to do, hey, Google it, find out what you want to do, find the command. You can use man, but let's be honest, if you're already in a browser, just Google it. Just Google the question, you'll find it. It's not hard. You can run man and find even more about even more things that program lets you do with it, but that's something you can do, you cannot do, it doesn't matter. Just find out what you want to do, you'll find it online. It's really, really not scary. It's not hard, it's not scary. And just so you know, I don't want to be condescending here, but there are so many people now who are unwilling to learn. It's ridiculous. Just be okay. Like, you're not going to have to learn how to do everything inside of the terminal, because we don't know how to do everything inside. Like, no, learning everything that could possibly be done inside of a terminal is impossible. It just is. You can learn a lot of things that you can do with the terminal. And because, again, it's the terminal, you can learn it pretty fast. Things that might seem unintuitive quickly turn out to be pretty intuitive. I have to go blow my nose really quick. Give me 1 second. All right, all right. And just because you get people like me who are super into the terminal doesn't mean everyone has to be. That's super true too. That's one thing that I've said on this channel for a long time. If you come over to Linux, there you don't have to use like, you never have to interact with the like, you don't have to. Again, you might be using some weird obscure piece of software that requires installation through the terminal. Again, on that front, we're talking about an obscure piece of software that most likely you don't have to use. Almost no. If you're using a mainstream distribution, almost every single piece of software that users in general want is in the repositories. So you don't have to use anything other than Software Center to install almost all, if not all, of your programs. Just saying. Okay. Maybe that's what intimidated them, because they see people like me obsessing over the terminal, doing all the weird stuff I do, programming and whatnot. I mean, I guess so. But to that same degree, I think what it is a lot of people still think Linux is like it was, even before I started using Linux, where it was most distributions were like Arch in a way. Like, maybe they did have a graphical installer, but you were much more likely to have to interact with a terminal to do a lot of things. But again, if that's your idea of Linux, like, you're way out of date. That's like complaining about Itch from 8 years ago compared to today. Like, yeah, Itch was a very different gaming platform back then. It's grown a lot more. Its selection has gotten a lot better. It's a lot of the quality of games on there have gotten better. But if you're still comparing it to other stuff from today, and you're comparing it from 8 years ago, no, that's not a fair comparison. Oh no, I just knocked out the eraser. Okay. It just slides back in there. That's cool, whatever. Another thing which might scare people is thinking that the minute you're using the terminal, you're expected to do hardcore programming. Oh yeah. A lot of people see like bash scripts and think that like bash scripting is like you're going to be doing that all the time. No. Like, you're not going to be scripting just because you're using the terminal. Like, that's also what I find funny about a lot of people is they see people using Linux and think they're instantly hackers because they run something like an update command in the terminal. Like, here's the thing. Like, if you're brand new in the terminal, like, an update command might look like something really scary, like hyper advanced, but I'm just going to get rid of this line here and this here. So your update command is like, let's say, like, I use Arch here. So I'll write out my update command. get rid of that arrow right there. Okay. So I'll break this down because I know it can be a little difficult to see, practically impossible. So the first part of the command is sudo. What does that do? That's for administrator privileges. Okay, so that's essentially sudo. Typing out sudo in the terminal means left clicking, or in this case, right clicking and clicking use as administrator on Windows. On Mac, I have no effing clue. Just don't even ask me. Don't know. Pacman, that's the name of my package manager. If you think about it for 3 seconds, I need to use my package manager, which manages all of my packages on my system because I need to update them. And on Arch, they make it really simple. You take package manager, the 2 words, and then you just like fucking yeet them together and you get Pacman. Okay, so root privileges or user, like administrator privilege, I don't care how you think about it. Sudo, root privileges, I can't speak, Pacman, and then dash, because we're going to be entering some flags or some options here, -S. Alone, that would be install. But then we're going to do -S, YYU. The second Y is probably useless. I don't know. I've just always done it that way. SYU works too. I don't know the difference between them, but I don't know even if there is a difference. But I just normally do the second Y because why not? SYYU, that'll just update the entire system. Bada bing, bada boom. Crazy. Super crazy. There's a difference between using the shell to execute a program and using the shell terminal program, shell scripting. Yes. Sudo. Yep, the best type of dough out there. You're breaking down barriers here. You know, I try every day. I give it my best. I try and break down the glass ceiling, keeping us all down. Yeah. I mean, like, let's be honest. This simple command here does look like some advanced piece of code, but it's really not. It's just not. It's super simple. Just think about it like this. If you were going to do something with a mouse and hit a button, now you're going to just be typing out something that matches it. So instead of having to right click on your program, select use as administrator, you're just going to type out one thing called sudo. There are different other programs that you could use instead of sudo. One that I typically prefer, but I'm not using right now, is called do as, because, well, do as is a very simple alternative to sudo, and everything about it is made to be extremely simple. The configuring it so that your user can get root privilege is 3 words. 3 words. It's super simple. And the name of it makes even more sense. Do as. You're going to type it out and you're going to do as administrator. Duh. Like, again, it's not like terminal is not scary and it's not complicated either. It's just, it can be complicated just like anything else. A GUI can be complicated. You load into Blender and you're like, what the frack is going on here? I mean, again, anything can be as complex as you make it out to be. It doesn't have to be. I mean, my needs in the terminal are super easy. Hell, I just finished up the script, or the little thing that I've been doing for the Bash challenge. So mine's completely done and ready. I don't know about Matt, but I'm pretty hype about mine. I think mine is going to be wee bit interesting. I hope Matt likes it. I also hope that so I have a difficulty scale in my script. I'm not going to explain any more than that, but I really hope he chooses hard. I really hope he chooses hard, because if he does, that's going to be epic. Epic. Oh, dang it. He's in here. Matt, hey, how's it going, man? How's it going? I definitely possibly was not going to talk more about my Bash challenge that I should have. That definitely wasn't going to happen at any point. Nope. I'm always here. You're always watching. I see you, man. I see you. I am looking forward to seeing Matt's reaction to it. I'm also really looking forward to seeing what Matt's come up with. I don't know. I have a feeling his is going to blow mine out of the water. Yes, you did. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to tell anything because I knew you might be in here. Like, I wasn't going to tell anything that would, you know, give it away. But I was going to give another hint about what it could be. But that would be that one. My next thing that I was going to say would be teetering on the line, teetering on it. Mine sucks. Trust me. See, you keep saying that, and I make like, dude, I am drinking coffee right now, so that could be a little bit about it. But like, my hands are sweating every time you tell me that. That makes me even more nervous because I'm like, okay, he's just saying that because he's come up with something great and he wants to keep it, you know. He wants to play it off. That way, when I actually see it, I'm like, what the heck, man? How'd you come up with that? Now, I will say one thing. I will say one thing. Your Bash challenge thing better not be that DWM status bar thing I saw you working on, okay? Because that would be breaking the rules too. I saw that. But I doubt that's what it is. You think I'm not telling the truth? See, again, I can't trust it. I can't trust it. I'm done. I'm not going to go back and do anything else to mine because I've essentially, like, all I've been working on for today is simplifying it. Because I had it way more advanced than it needed to be. So I simplified it down quite a bit and made it a much more of a less obscene script. So that's good. Thought about it though, yeah. See, like, I had the thing that I was gonna do before this was pretty stupid. It was I mean, it's not stupid, but it was something. The reason I didn't do it is because when I thought about it, I'd already done it before. I was going to do sort of a game that asked you stuff about like who you are and stuff, and it was going to be made specifically for you. And I was going to go to your Twitter and like all of your social media and try and get just information that you probably didn't think I would know, and just skim through there and like present it back to you. Doing that and try and make it like this like creepy sort of game, like, oh my god, like, where did you find all this info? But when I thought about it, I have a project that is like a text sort of adventure game that would mimic the functionality of that quite a bit, and so nah, it's not a good option. Back in today, I used to write scripts that were insanely convoluted. I'm getting better at it. Getting better. I remember one program which was over 500 lines and eventually made it to under 100. Yeah, I don't know what mine is now. I could check, but I know that it was like almost double the amount of lines that it is now, and it was just the way that I'd written it was just really bad. It needed work. And so, I mean, we're talking about Bash, like scripting now, and that's another thing that like new Linux users don't really understand. Bash, if you want to get something simple done, writing a script for it is way easier than you think it is. It's way easier than you think it is, and it's also not complicated. Like, you can do really complex things in Bash scripting, of course, but to do something simple, like, I don't know, have a script that, I don't know, changes your backlight to a certain setting, changes your volume to a certain setting, like sets your computer up for a movie watching experience or something like that, you could write a script like that in like less than 5 minutes. If you're unfamiliar with how to write scripts, even in general, writing a script like that would take you maybe 30 minutes because you got to look up everything as you're doing it. Like, Yeah, no, it's really not complex. Bash scripting is also pretty fun. Like I don't know, in my opinion, like I like scripting in general. So Bash scripting to me is like the most fun version of scripting because as long as you don't want to do anything complex, it's very straightforward. Um, I can't wait for you to judge them, man. I can't wait. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Like, all right, I'm holding a pod, so I can't cross this finger. Fingers crossed. I hope I win, but Matt has me convinced that he's going to come out swinging with his. Mine is 54 lines right now, but I still have about half of it to write. If it doesn't work, I'm screwed. Hold on, let me check mine. Let me see how much mine is. Mine is 70, technically 74, but class line is not really used. So 73 lines. So mine's I got it down pretty short. So it was about like I want to say it was at least 110 lines before I started doing work on it to get it down a bit more because I knew it didn't need to be as many lines as it was. Well, I'm glad you are. I'm glad like at least somebody is really hyped to see them. Um, uh, See again. See, Matt, you're killing me here because you say shit like that. I want to believe you, but I'm not. I just don't. I just don't. It makes me more and more nervous the more you talk about how just you're gonna lose. Because I'm like, he's gonna have something that like you genuinely believe is not good, but it's just gonna be this super cool thing that's like done super simply or whatever. Like that's just whatever reason you think it's not going to be good is the exact reason why everyone else is like going to be like, damn. That's what's got me nervous. Uh, it's kind of funny that we were just now talking about how you don't have to program to use the terminal, but here we are talking about programming. Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't have to. I mean, people need to understand you don't have to. You don't have to. But it's not also like it's not hard either. Like bash scripting is one of those things where you don't have to, but you'd be surprised once you find out how easy it is, just how many cool things you can do with it. Because again, a lot of people will negate this, but it's also it's a very valid point. When you have a whole bunch of scripts that you use on your computer to do, like you've automated a whole bunch of tasks yourself, it is very cool when other people sit down at your computer and want to do something and you have the opportunity to show, like tell them like, oh, well, like most of the functionality that I do on a day-to-day basis on here, I've written myself. That is very cool. Like I have like 5 scripts on here. Most of them I no longer really use that much, but whatever. I have like 5 really handy scripts that I'm like really happy I have. Like I have one that when I plug in my HDMI cord, actually, I don't even think it's on this computer anymore. Like 99% sure it's not even on this computer anymore. It's on my backup hard drive. Whatever. I have a script where if I plug a HDMI cord into my computer, it automatically detects the ACPI event. So like the HDMI being plugged in, it detects it, and that script will automatically run. And the script that runs just it refreshes the screen. It sets ARANDR properly. I can't remember. It does a few other things, like it automatically opens up Discord or whatever on my other screen, as well as something else. I can't remember. Again, it's been a long time since I've used it. And by a long time, that's for me like 8 months, which means it might as well be like 3 years in my memory. I don't know. It's because of stuff like this that I don't have great memory. Just saying. That's clever. Nice one. I don't know what you're saying, but hey, apparently I say clever things. I like it. I like it. I try. I try. But oh, you're talking about the script. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. So I was talking about that bad memory. So is there anything when it comes to the terminal, Matt, or terminal, that Terminal for Life, that you got to say about the terminal being not scary for new users and why they shouldn't be scared about it? Because I can think of, like, again, we've been going for, at this point, I have no idea, like almost an hour. Let me see. No way. That can't be accurate. Tell me that we're at 2 hours. There's no way I've been streaming for 2 hours. Oh, yeah, just over an hour and 15 minutes. I was like, there's no way I've been streaming for 2 hours. No way. No way. Because, I mean, I'm standing right now, just in case you can't tell. I'm standing. So, I feel like I would have noticed leg-wise that I've been standing for 2 hours. But, all right, let me grab my drink. All right, so, Matt, here's one question that I don't think would be breaking the rules, but I just want to ask. Is your script more of a game than a script? I don't think that's breaking. You can tell me if that's breaking the rules, because I'm not sure. Okay, it's telling me that chat's disconnected. It keeps doing this. YouTube, stop that. We're trying to have a conversation here, man. If you could just reconnect here in just a second, you know, that'd be great. Be great. YouTube, just come on now. You can do it. Just reconnect. Come on. Okay. 30 years from now, it'll reconnect, and I'll just get like a stream of chats. There we go. Think about ideas for your question. Good. Not a game at all. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. So since it's not against the rules to ask that question, I guess I will go ahead and say that mine is more of a game. Not really. Calling it a game would be a loose term, but it's supposed to be a little bit fun. It's got some fun put in it. Put it like that. Hey, well, you know, that's the thing. I don't think I'm pretty sure we set the rule as it has to be cool or useful. It doesn't have to be both, one or the other, or both. But you know. Mine is, I definitely didn't go the useful route. I could heavily consider people looking at mine and being like, out of context, this might just be malware. I could totally see that. Because mine's just interesting like that. Now, so, yeah, I mean, the whole stream was just about, you know, is the terminal scary? And the terminal is not scary. There's not commands that you're going to be running that are scary. There's, I mean, out of the gate, yeah, sure. Once you get a little bit, you know, more familiar with the terminal, you'll be running commands like RM for different stuff, DD for burning an ISO to a disk drive, or, you know, to a pen drive, USB drive, whatever. Yeah, but if it's your first forte into the terminal, like, you're not going to be the first thing you're going to do in a terminal will not be flashing an ISO to your pen drive. That's no. I highly doubt it. Since you're not super comfortable with the terminal, you probably already have a program picked out to use for flashing it anyway. So, you know, mine has the potential to break someone's install. Here's a question that I totally forgot to ask. Are we going to be just exchanging these scripts and then just running them on each other's computer? Because in that case, I might just need to load up a VM for yours to be safe. I don't really want to ruin my install, you know? These scripts sound very professional. Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if you looked at how mine's written, Simple would be one way of putting it. Simple-minded would be another way of putting it. I don't even know if we should run mine while the stream is going. Well, brother, it's happening. It's happening. One of our machines will definitely be running it. If we're just gonna exchange them and run them, I'm gonna I think that would make an even better stream. Just while we're both testing them out, like I run yours and just my entire my webcam cuts out just everything from my end just starts you can tell the bit rate is just being hammered and destroyed, and then just my entire computer goes down, and 5 minutes later I just mosey on back into the stream hey, my computer's back. I had to do luckily for me I had a backup save, so it didn't take me too long to get back in here. I feel like that people would actually die from humor in that scenario. I don't think anyone would be like, oh darn, stream's over. I think it would take everybody a few minutes to recover from laughing. Two machines go in, one comes out. Just run them blind on your main machine. I mean, to be dead honest, if Matt hadn't have said what he said, to be honest, I would have even thought about it. I would have just downloaded it and ran it, because I mean, see, here's the thing too. Nowhere in the rules do we specify that you couldn't make malware. I didn't even think about that, but Matt, you could just make a very malicious script that we have to test on stream, and it just you could. There's nothing stopping you from making me some malware. Yeah, that would be brilliant. I think so too. Not the malware part. Not the malware part. I would really prefer it if you didn't make malware, Matt. That'd be awesome. I have totally just given a really bad idea here, and he's got time to work on it. So that's a thing. Yeah, that's about the nervous sip I've had all day. Okay. Can malware be cool or useful? I don't know. That's a deep down question for you, man. Can you make a cool piece of malware by tomorrow? I really hope the answer to that question is no, because my computer would very much love it. rm-rf/hidden somewhere in there. Yeah. Just he sends me a script that's 3,000 lines long. I cannot decipher what's going on in there, and then just hidden in a deep thing of comments, just right in the middle is an uncommented rm-rf command. That would be that would be a fun day. Some criminals find it useful. That's true. So, Matt, tomorrow, if you consider yourself a criminal, by all means, piece of malware works. Ooh, wait, hold on. I hope you guys avoid writing malware, because without giving too much away, I'll be looking for certain things which won't make sense in malware. Okay. Oh, so wait, hold on. Terminal for life. Are you telling me that you already have criteria in mind for whose script here is going to win? How you're going to cast your vote? You already have your criteria for the script decided? Because in that case, we need to have a little bit more of a conversation here, so I can dive deep into and pick your brain subtly without you knowing, like I'm telling you right now, and that way I can make some subtle hints to my script, so I can definitely get that badge of honor, because I definitely don't need it. Maybe could definitely benefit from it. Dude, my mom is making food right now. I think because this house is starting to smell freaking bomb. no idea what is being made out there, but it smells pretty good. TFL sounds like that professor that everyone avoided in college. Yeah. Oh gosh. So you still terminal for life. You still didn't answer the question. Do you already have your criteria picked out? Again, I have to go blow my nose. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Hey, your mom. What you making? Pork chops and mashed potatoes, right? What are you making again? Cool. All right. Well, as soon as I'm streaming, I'll eat some. Yeah. Pork chops, mashed taters, and I think she said fried squash too. That'd be great. Dude, teaching shell programming would be a great way of making a living. Also, technically speaking, keep up with YouTube long enough, that could be what you end up doing. Just saying. I do have criteria, but I'm not sharing it. Oh, but not because, yeah, I've read it that way anyway. Yeah. So okay. Well, look. Life's not fair. Okay. Life's not fair. Neither should you, or you shouldn't be either, if I can speak. So with that in mind, well, hold on. So I'm just gonna guess. So you're somebody who knows what they're doing in the terminal. You know how to script. I'm going to assume that if I was you, I would be looking for criteria like, hold on. I'm going to assume you're looking for criteria like doing stuff interesting, like trying to think, like at the very least having, some if statements in there, maybe case statements, maybe. I'm trying to think. No. No, if I knew making some good scripting, like your whiteboard is too tiny. Oh, I know. Also, if I could write bigger. Well, so here's the thing. The whiteboard I don't think is too tiny. I think the problem is my marker's too tiny, because I have a very fine pointed marker here. What I'm going to do the next time I go out and go shopping, I'm going to pick up some those like thick boy markers that like write in big lines, flat edge ones or whatever they're called. I'm going to buy some of those, and hopefully that'll make it where it's much more readable. He wants correct syntax and no arbitrary rules. Good. Correct syntax. Well, but I feel like also no subterminals or whatever they're called. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not doing anything like that. I don't even know. I don't even know anything about subterminals or whatever that stuff is. Subshells. Yeah, I have no idea. So we're definitely not going to see any of that there. So if that's one of the good criteria, I said, no subterminals. Okay, yeah. So I passed on that rule there. Epic. We couldn't use said or grep anyways. Yes, but you did ask to change that rule. So, you can. You don't have to not. You can. Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and say, I'm not. Yes, I notice how you haven't agreed or disagreed. I know. Sadly, yes, I'm very aware of it. Well, okay. Shit, whatever. You know what? Man? I just want a clear-cut advantage here, and it looks like I'm not going to get it. So, fine. Me and Nat will just play on fair ground, okay? Even though life's not fair, the world's not fair, God's not fair. Come on. We'll play a fair game. Fine. The challenge will be fair, I guess. Lame, but fine. Okay. I guess Matt will just win then. And I'll just be forever lost in the world of losing challenges, I guess. Yep. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you want to, man, there ain't going to be no points taken away from it. No, nothing. Nah, you got it. It is a part of the official rules that you can use stuff like that. I'm trying to think. And when it comes to grep, sed, awk, tail, stuff like that, like if you're going to be using those like simple little programs, like I don't think that really takes anything away anyway. That's why I don't care. Like I don't think it's going to change the quality of the script. It not being able to use those might make it a little bit more interesting, but I mean, it's not like you can't get by with just pure bash. It's just not always as simple. Yeah, same. Luckily, I'm not using grep or sed or anything like that. I don't think I'm using anything like that. When you asked that, I said yes because I was like, maybe I might need it too. I can't remember. I don't think in my script I'm using anything like that. I can't remember though, because I am doing quite a bit of stuff, and that's in them 73 lines. I am doing a bit of stuff, but yeah, I can't really remember. But so, I mean, we've covered the title of this stream. So now let's do what we always do in these nice streams, and let's completely divulge into a random topic other than what we've been talking about when it comes to the Bash Challenge. How have you guys been, and is there anything interesting that you guys have been up to that you want to talk about at all? Or is there any questions that you have? Some of you might not have been in here when I was talking about the update with the eye, so if you want to know how that thing is, just know it's better. It's getting better, and I also don't have to do hourly eye drops now, which is epic. Awesome. It's Friday. You're doing the big reveal, right? Yeah. And I am very excited. So actually, here's a question I have for you, Matt. When we do the poll and everything for who won, how long is that going to go for? When are we going to get the response back on who actually won the challenge? Just a little question. Don't know how long the polling is going to go for. But yeah, other than that, how have you guys been? Been up to anything interesting, or is there anything you want to chat about in particular? Because again, I enjoy live streaming and chatting with you guys. You guys are all pretty interesting. We can set the date for the end of Sunday. Awesome. Okay, cool. I like it. I like it. Also, can I just say, the video that you put up of welcome to your channel, that made me laugh so hard. It was so funny. So funny. Like, just, I love the intro, the passion and like the soul that you've got with it. You're like, hey guys, and it changes into the most monotone, just reading from a script like that. I mean, that got the literal jump cut to it was what got me. Like that shit got me. That was a good little video. Uh, I just visited my dad and hung out with him. That's awesome. Um, Dang, yeah. I wish I knew how to play the guitar. Um, I can strum it real bad. That's about it. Um, and cooked. See, here's the thing. I am normally the one around here who cooks. Just saying. So like, just little info dump. I have a single mother. My dad has not been around for a long time, which is a whole nother story in itself, and it doesn't really matter anyway. Now, around here, my mom has like 2 dishes that she makes that are, I mean, they're really good. Other than that, it's not that she's a bad cook or anything. She just doesn't normally cook. And so like, dude, I've gotten to be a pretty proficient cook in making non-healthy foods. Like, dude, I make some bomb steak fries. I had like 4 friends over and made a big thing of steak fries for all of us the other day. Oh, so good. So good. Or if you want, we can go a whole week. Doesn't really matter. I think Sunday's good. I think Sunday's good. Not too long, not too short. Gives them plenty of time to respond, get their vote in, and we don't have to wait an entire week to figure out who won on the challenge. Because, like, let's be honest, I have a feeling that it's probably going to be pretty close. It just will be. I haven't seen that video yet. I definitely need to watch that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It is awesome. It is great. Just make sure you catch the jump cut because it is epic. It is one hell of a jump cut. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Oop, I've already read that one. That 30 seconds took a half hour to record. It's still, I totally get. There are some videos that I post that are like 10 minutes long. And I'm like, if you only knew how much, like, that's one thing. Like, luckily I have people around me that take what I do and treat it as like I'm not wasting my time. Because they actually, a lot of them do notice how much time it takes to get videos made. Some of them, you might make a 10-minute video, and making it and recording, editing, all that stuff, even as basic of edits as I do on my videos, still takes time. Like, you might do that in under an hour, but there are sometimes we make a 10-minute video and it's going to take you 3.5 hours to even be close to done on it. Explored the profile option in Brave and integrated it into my Qtile keycords. Interesting. I see. Here's the thing. I'm still not big on Brave. I have no problem with Brave. I don't think Brave is like stupid or I know a whole bunch of people like really talk shit about Brave. To me, I think Brave is it's a fine browser. It's just for me. I don't really agree with the idea, like their idea behind ads, like the way they're doing it being more beneficial or solving stuff. But that being said, it's still a good browser. And also now that they're going to try and compete with their own search engine, I might be giving them some support here before too long because, well, I mean, I'm all down for us having a just as good of a browser or a search engine as Google without, well, it being Google. So, yeah. Is there anything in Tennessee that isn't fried? Yes. No. If you want fried ice cream, there's that. If you want fried Oreos, there's that. Like, yes, an Oreo. If you want, if an Oreo, if you look at an Oreo and you're like, that's real sweet and stuff, but I wonder how it would taste fried, you can get that. You can get anything fried down here. I don't know that there's anything. I can't name anything that isn't fried, or at least has a fried option. Yeah, you can get anything fried. Anything fried. Love cooking as well as everything from barbecue to traditional French cuisine. Oh, see, I'm actually, even though I live in the South, I'm not a huge barbecue dude, and barbecue is definitely huge in Tennessee. Um, not near as good as I used to be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just could never get super into the guitar. I always wanted to be able to play it really well. I couldn't stick with it and get good at it. Um, Stir fries. Yeah, yeah, they're great. Yeah, veggies. Like so many people now don't even know how to like make good veggies, so they assume all veggies are just horrible. Like, dude, no, no, veggies are good. Veggies are good. I've never eaten anything French unless it's cheese or French fries. Uh, uh, I, cheese definitely counts. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Uh, yeah, brie. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I'm down the south. We pronounce a whole bunch of shit wrong. Um, oh yeah, hella fattening. Yes, it is. I'm more of a blue cheese guy. Ooh. Yeah. See, I like blue cheese, but almost every one of my family members hates it. Like hates blue cheese. Since we're talking about just food and stuff right now, all right. Let me know. Am I the only one that does this? Where I go in to like places like restaurants like Chick-fil-A and get you'll get like a whole bunch of extra sauces just to keep them around, because like I don't know, just restaurant dips are always awesome. Um, you said it how I said it. Okay, cool. All right, I've got to go. All right, man. Well, have a good one. Have a good one. Go make a video if I want to get it uploaded tonight. Yeah, well, have a good one, man, and I'll look forward to the video. Now, Terminal for Life, I've got a question for you. What is, like, do you, let's have a little YouTuber discussion right here. Do you, are you on top of your shit where you have, like, videos already made, like you're already ahead of your schedule? Like you already have videos planned out that are scheduled to go up? I keep trying, like I will get myself like where I'm like 3 videos ahead and then I'll fall behind and have to just like make it for the day, for that day or for the day ahead. It's really hard to stay on top of videos and have it where I'm not like having to make a video that day to go up that day. See, same. I recently had, I was 4 days ahead, and then on 3 days I was like, all right, well I need to make a video, but I'm like I'm already so ahead. Why don't I spend the whole day, just mowing the yard, taking care of the house, cleaning up, just do the whole day just doing that, and then fell behind again. Like it's so annoying. It's really hard to stay ahead of schedule, but I feel so good. Like when I'm caught up and ahead of schedule, it's really nice, but it's so hard to stay that way. See, I wish I could do that, but a lot of the times what happens is if I record a video and like winging it and I don't end up liking it, it essentially just gets like it gets held back for a little while, and then I just do a mass deletion of like all of the videos where I just wasn't happy with them, and I don't even like revisit them. Like there are probably like 15 decent videos that get deleted every month and a half that are like month and a half that like are decent, but I just wasn't at the time, wasn't really happy with them. So they're just like wiped, gone, like I never even did them. So I wish. So I got the video that I posted today, did that today. Tomorrow's video, I'll probably get it done after the stream. Probably. Do I know what I'm going to do for tomorrow's video? No. No. I don't even have an idea for tomorrow's video. And most likely I'm going to have to get it done before tomorrow because I'm going to have to do stuff around the house. Like, so essentially, just a little tangent here about how my life works. I have reduced expenses by living at home, obviously, but I also for years paid rent, but now I don't, just because I do on 1 day a week, Thursdays. All I got to do on Thursdays is at 2 o'clock record the podcast with Matt. And so other than that, what I do is just I spend the whole day mowing the yard, cleaning the house, doing all of that stuff. Essentially do like just a huge deep clean on everything, do all of the possible things that go into maintaining a house, just get it done on all 1 day. Gone, reduced to atoms. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They were all just abandoned and obliterated into oblivion, literally. Like right now I have, let me see, 8, 12. I have 12 videos that I'm just not happy with. These are going to get wiped. I'm not even going to revisit them or anything, because if I wasn't happy with it at the time of recording, I'm not going to go back and look at it now and be like, oh, I could definitely just do some edits to this and make it better. Because most of mine that are like that, like are ruined, are normally from stuff like the audio being screwy or something like that, where I just, a lot of the times it's OBS screwing with me, where like I do a reboot and I forget, like if I keep all of my devices plugged in, for some reason Pulse Audio doesn't initialize right, and it causes some issues where like an audio device is not detected. It's just like weird things like that normally ends up making a video where it's like, oh, this is not usable anymore. Yeah, and see that's one of the reasons why I've never been the type of person to be like, feel bad because I live at home, because I get along with my parents or my mom and my sister really well, and my sister like also is hardly ever even here. Let's see. I just got here. How's the situation with your eye been? Well, thank you for asking, man. And it's getting better. I went and saw the ophthalmologist today, and so I'm not going to have to put in the 2 eye drops that I've been putting in every hour. Now I have to put them in only 3 times a day. I've already put them in today twice, so this afternoon I got to put them in, before bed. But yeah, that's it. And then I'm going back, I think Monday, or it may have been, no, it's a Wednesday. I'm going back Wednesday at 1, and everything should be completely better by then. Having OCD sucks. It makes me get too far obsessive with the detail, and what I say, everything I say must be 100% accurate, not always realistic, so that makes it difficult sometimes. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, man. OCD is really rough. I have a few friends who, like, you always have those people who are like, I'm so OCD, and it's like, because you keep your room clean does not make you OCD. Like, I have one friend who part of his OCD is like, or at least the part that I'm most familiar with about his OCD is him having to every time he opens his door has to do it 3 times. Well, also that sort of changed here in the past, where it's for some reason 4 times, but yeah. It's just it for him it's really annoying, because there's things that he has to do to feel like he's like in control of stuff and feel fine. Which, I mean, that's, luckily it's not one of those things that's like, for most people, it's not debilitating where you can't function. But yeah, it's not a condition that you just want to have. It's not like most people were like, I wish I was OCD so my room would be clean. Like, that's so like, I hate hearing that. It's so annoying. That's good that it's on the upswing. Yes, it's still light sensitive right now, which I would really like that to get better real soon. I'm really hoping I wake up in the morning and the puffiness is almost completely, like, it's come down a lot, but it would be nice if the puffiness is almost completely gone in the morning, as well as the light sensitivity. That would be awesome. But according to my ophthalmologist, it might not be till like Sunday till the light sensitivity. I mean, he said even Monday it could be a thing where it's not completely back to where it should be. But he just told me like things like this, they just take a different amount of time. Like for most people, a few days and it's back to normal. But he goes like, for me, so I have an autoimmune disorder. He's like, most likely the way your immune system works and everything, and how I have a damaged immune system. So he's like, it just might take you a little bit longer to heal. I've seen me pin videos because I made one mistake. I totally understand, man, and I don't have OCD, and I've done that before. Making videos and knowing that you're going to put them up in front of everybody to see and judge can make you be really critical of yourself, which is why I'm still surprised that I've made videos. Like, if you go back in my videos list, you'll find a video called, it's like about Gala Games, and like you can watch it. I'm talking about, like, it links to another video that I did where I got a lot of bad feedback for. And now, by the way, that video was not, like, I didn't do proper research on it, and I didn't do a good enough job explaining that I was it was just a first impressions of Gala Games and what it is. If you want to know about it, don't ask me. It's some NFT thing, whatever. But yeah. Oh yeah, I genuinely do have OCD. Yeah, and that's the problem. So many people say they have OCD and they don't actually mean it. They don't actually have OCD. I've had it all my life, and it's been unbelievably debilitating, and at times soul destroying. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Because the older I get, the better I handle it. I struggle a lot with anxiety, though. Yeah, and also, unfortunately, OCD is one of those things where it's like a behavioral thing. So society in general, most people are not very accepting of behavior that's outside of the norm, which is also really unfortunate. But I mean, you can't change society. Luckily you can just learn that it doesn't really matter, and also ignorant people will be ignorant people. So people talking about how OMG I'm so OCD is so cringe. Yes, it really is. It's a real condition that can range from incredibly annoying to debilitating. Yes. Yes. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate how many people don't know that, like, even a mild case of OCD is like, it's annoying. Like, it's heavily annoying. Like, I know somebody who has a light case of OCD also struggles with anxiety because of the OCD. Like, the OCD and the behavioral changes because of it is what causes his anxiety. And it's very unfortunate because, technically speaking, like, luckily he's surrounded with a lot of very good people who are, for one, completely understanding and knowledgeable. So there's actually no real reason for him to feel anxious around us because we all understand it. But it's one of those things where, at one point you have to be a kid. And let's be honest, kids are not nice at all. And pretty much all of us have trauma stemming from our childhood because, well, we're all different. And the funny thing about kids is we're as kids, we're all brutal to one another. So anything that makes you different is pointed out and abused as a child. So yeah, that's not great. But that got really, really deep, I guess you could say that, or maybe intense. I don't know how you would say it, but yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, kids are really mean to each other, and it scars you. But hey, luckily you got your entire life to work through it, and you might just meet those people who were really rude to you as a kid, and them being rude to you also being what caused a lot of issues for them mentally, getting over it and stuff. And like also you got to think about it like this: the bully who beats you up or like made your life a living hell in school, there's a good chance that as an adult he's haunted, knowing that he pretty much could have, maybe did, ruin your life and your perspective on life. So, like, just being a kid is a scarring experience. Yes, kids have no filters. They really don't. They really don't. And also, kids don't understand like what's hurt. Like a lot of kids don't understand what's hurtful and what's not. I guess that sort of goes into having no filters, but a lot of kids, even when they understand that something could be taken as mean or hurtful, a lot of the times they just don't even understand that it can be taken that way, depending on how they say it. Because also kids are like horrible storytellers. Like when they try to explain stuff or tell you about something, it's awful. It's just awful. Like you gotta just make it through it and hope that he'll get to his point eventually. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to smack the pop filter. Hopefully that didn't like peak the microphone or something. But um yes, yes, that is, oh my god, that is very accurate. So accurate. And then I like, and then over there, and then she, and like like a kid telling a story is like, like your like high school girlfriend, like after you guys break up, you can just imagine her telling like her girlfriend or whatever, and she's like teary eyed and like trying to explain like, why both of you, like what happened in the fight, like why you guys are over and all this stuff. Like that's sort of like in between like gasp and like tearing up. Like that's what you imagine a kid to sound like, but that kid sounds like that all the time. Like they're not having an emotional breakdown. That's just how they tell what happened on Tuesday. Like it's it's insane. A story from a kid. Yeah. Yep. And that's exactly how they put it. And they probably don't even have more information in there either. Like that, and she part, like they might get to that in like 3 minutes. Kids are kids are great. Kids are awesome. Which is another reason. Like, so is anyone in here a parent at all? Just question. Um, 'Cause if you are, I have a interesting question. Being, have you tried like teaching your kid like Linux and like using the terminal and stuff? Because I've seen a few channels where they like it's like a parent and their son or daughter, and they do like Linuxy like Raspberry Pi style projects and stuff together, and like that's the whole point of the channel. And I'm always like, okay, but does the kid actually, like, is that really what they're interested in, or is that just what dad's interested in, so they do it with dad? Like I've always wondered that, like, because for me, like, I don't know, maybe I'm very unique here, but like I grew up in a farming family. No, farming and insurance. Like in my family, if you're going to do something, you're going to be a farmer, or you're going to be like a insurance salesman. That two options. Almost everybody in my family falls into those categories. Me and my sister are the two different ones. My sister's doing veterinary school and being a vet tech, and I do this and work on computers. So, like, in my family, like it was just really weird that I as a kid, like everybody was trying to get me to go outside, and I'm like, I really would like to be inside. Really would like to be inside. Like, putting up the frame to a barn sounds great, but learning how to do stuff on a computer also sounds fun. Not a parent. Talked about it with my ex fiancés, but well, ex, yeah. I'd love to have a boy and teach him about Linux. I would too, as long as he's interested in Linux. But that being said, I'm not interested in, I have to preface that with, I'm not actually interested in having my own kid. Like, I'm just not. Again, I know I'm just about to turn 24. It could change in the next 5-10 years. It could, but I don't like small children. They make me feel awkward, and just because one's mine, I don't think that's gonna change how I feel about it. Every parent tells me I'm wrong there, so again, I could be wrong, but I'm just not super interested in it. If you teach a kid Linux and they open up a terminal at school, they're gonna get sent to the principal's office for hacking the mainframe. Pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. Well, see, so my best friend who passed away from schizophrenia last year, when we were in high school together, he got sent to the principal's office because they figured out that he was hacking the projectors in all of his classes. He just downloaded an app that was like a universal projector remote, and then would just turn off the projectors during presentations and stuff just to piss off his teachers. And like, I mean, it was funny and stuff, but he got sent to the office, and the teacher was like, yeah, he's hacking the projector and everything. And like, I mean, his mom thought he was an expert hacker and everything. He's like, I just downloaded a fucking app and pressed a button. Like, I'm not a hacker. But nowadays, you do something obscure like that, you're elite level hacker. You're probably like, on the weekends just diving into the NSA mainframe and taking all of their information. Like, yeah, okay. I think everyone is interested in Raspberry Pi, even girls. So I believe that. You're not wrong there. One of my girlfriends, I actually bought her 3 Raspberry Pis. The first one replaced the like, I don't know what you'd call it. They didn't have a DVR or whatever. Replaced that. Like, I was like, look, you can plug up a hard drive on it. I'll definitely legally acquire, all of the shows you want to watch and put them on it, and you can watch them. And they're like, oh yeah, that's epic. Okay. And then, they still had cable for that weird stuff that you might, I don't even know. We haven't had cable in so freaking long. Like, why? What do you need cable for? But okay, it's an option. But yeah, after that, we got another one, and we used that for, like, I did like a cool like lock on their front door using it. That was really sweet. I didn't do anything like hackery there. I also just downloaded a script and ran it on it, and followed a guide on how to make a thing, and again, step-by-step tutorials nowadays. You don't even have to know what you're doing. You can just follow them and make something cool, like, I don't know, a Raspberry Pi door lock. So yeah, did a whole bunch of Raspberry Pi stuff with her. She liked them. She thought they were pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't really like kids either, and I don't think I want kids. But I will tell you this: the paternal instinct gets bloody strong when you get older, or it has with me. Interesting. I mean, I have some paternal instincts, but like not strong ones. Like, like I will look out after a kid, but I don't want to hang out with that kid. Like, there's a clear separation there for me. Like, I can care about someone else's kid a lot, but I still don't want to have my own, because I mean, I like sleep, and like, let's be honest, let's come down to the real thing here. I'm a cheap ass, okay? Even if I was making $1 million, do you know how much fucking money a kid eats up from you? Like, do you know how much money I've cost my mom? Fuck no, I don't. No, that's way too much money. Hell no. Again, we're way down a tangent here, but this is what these streams are for, okay? Stop a kid on the street, offer a lollipop. That's a good way to beta test if Okay, Peter, respect. All right, so let's rename kidnapping to beta testing children. Or that sounds really wrong. Let's say kidnapping is now called beta testing parenthood. That's one interesting way of looking at it. Peter, no. Yeah, I just use Netflix and stuff. Never paid for a TV license. Okay, so let's talk about Netflix too, because here's the thing. I've been trying to convince my mom. Not really. I haven't really talked with her about it, but I've been meaning to, and I sort of want to have this conversation of, let's stop paying for Netflix. Let's just stop. Because now it is just so easy to legally acquire movies at super cheap prices. I don't see a real reason why we should keep Netflix. Let's just buy an 8 terabyte hard drive for like $120. Hell, if we want to save money, let's buy a 5 terabyte for like $80 and just plug that bad boy, like, again, I'm talking about like a Western Digital one, a USB one, and just plug that into the TV. Just like we'll Gorilla glue it to the back of the TV and just keep it plugged up, and then I'll just hook up my laptop to it, and if you got a few new shows or movies or whatever you want to watch, I'll download them, of course, legally purchasing them, of course, at very low prices, as you do, and put them on there. Like, why don't we just do that? Because like Netflix is one of those things where like the only real reason it's nice is because if you don't know what you want to watch, you got all the nice pictures and shit up there. But the TV that we have is a smart TV. It looks nice. It'll show you the movie information and the picture and stuff, because again, all my stuff is legally acquired, of course. So yeah, there's no problem there. Like, why don't we just do that? It'd save us a lot of money. This just got dark. Yeah, I did get dark there for a second. I did. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I just moseyed on past that like a pro, okay, and got on to talking about how, I would totally be against illegally acquiring movies against, like, instead of using Netflix. I'm heavily against that. I'm heavily against illegally acquiring movies in any context. That is not okay, guys, okay? Okay? Now, if you're legally acquiring movies, as you do, as we all do, yeah, it's no problem. Why use Netflix anymore? I don't condone purchasing movies. Netflix is so cheap and you get so much. I'm happy with it. I agree with you there. I don't think purchasing movies and stuff is really a great idea. But I will say this. Like, I have a buddy who's a cinephile, and like he comes over with movies like, dude, we're going through like John, what is it called? Von Trier right now. He's some director. We watched Nymphomaniac, which was crazy. Again, it's about a nymphomaniac, so if you're not okay with sex scenes, I don't think you should watch that scene or watch that movie. Also, if you're too awkward to watch a movie that involves sex scenes with your friend, you probably definitely don't want to watch this movie, because it doesn't just have some intense sex scenes in it. It's also got some nice abuse in it, which is wow. Whoa. But they're fantastic movies. But yeah, he buys movies that like you would not find on Netflix. And he's also trying to build up a Blu-ray collection, which, I mean, for me, I'm fine with the, again, completely legal quality movies that you find online that you can download. I'm fine with those. There's so much wink wink nudge nudge going on right now. I have no idea what you're talking about. absolutely none of that going on right now. None of that. Because again, we all acquire our movies legally. I'm not winking right now, okay? My eye's hurting. They're different things, okay? Okay? Oh. Okay. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But again, for the FBI agent who's watching this, there's no wink, wink, nudge, nudge going on here because, again, we all acquire our movies legally. No one would not give Time Warner their hard-earned money to watch the next piece of shit Star Wars movie, okay? I, for one, am happy to give Time Warner or Disney or whatever production house thing that maybe employs 5 people to do the BS work that they do and they take in $6 million a year. I am happy to give them my money for their quality product, okay? I am. Now, I need to address that statement. Movies are quality products. The people who actually go into making them, the directors, the actors, and everything, I think they deserve to be paid for their stuff. But the overall production houses and the people who soak up most of the money, I think are, well, with recent history, we've all sort of learned just how quality those, calling them people would be a little bit loose, but those things, monsters that crawl out of the closet at night to, or rape a woman. Yeah, I don't think they should get paid for me watching a movie, period. But that's a whole nother topic. I think Netflix is a great deal. It has a crap ton of films and TV shows without adverts. Wish I had that as a kid. Amazon Prime is all right too. Yeah, Amazon Prime I'm okay with. I like it. It's good. The only reason I'm okay with it is because my sister pays for Prime for the whole family because she's the one who uses it the most. But either way, I think it's fine. It's got some good shows on there too. Netflix is a good deal. The problem that I have with Netflix is like, I mean, it's still not as good as legally acquiring your movies and just having a large hard drive with them stored on there. And then also what you can do, and this is what I do. I don't know if any of you guys have this, but I have a galvanized trash can that I have rubber on the inside of, and I have hard drives, laptops, a little like solar power thing put down in it. Like I've got all this shit so that it sits in there. It's about to sneeze. Anyway, I have all of that stuff put in there. And one of the things being a hard drive with a lot, and I mean a lot of legally acquired movies and TV shows on it. That way, should an EMP happen and like your solar flare and all of our electronics get fried and stuff, the grid goes down for quite a while. At the very least, when we go back to, to have a farm or backyard or the garden in our backyard being our only source of food and shit, then life gets a little bit more interesting. At the very least, on nights, we'll be able to watch a movie or something. We'll probably be the only family around here with the ability to watch a movie at night. Hell, or plug in LED lights and be able to walk around the house and see where you're going at night. That type of shit. Yeah. I have my subscription in one of the bays, the one operated by pirates to be exact. Oh, yeah. That's a fantastic subscription to have because it's completely free and legal. Okay, the UK Netflix isn't as good as the US one, apparently. That one I have no idea about, but then in this day and age, if you don't have a VPN for legally acquiring your movies, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Do you just like not having an ISP that will do business with you? Come on. And again, just in case someone is lurking and watching this and doesn't know this, VPNs do not protect your privacy or make you secure on the internet. Don't for a second think that. The only thing they do is they just keep your ISP from being able to tell that you're legally downloading movies. You know, again, law-abidingly, you know, downloading movies. Because for some reason they care about that, which is crazy. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, luckily I don't have to pay for Prime. I use my mates. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. Sharing subscription services is the best way to do it. Always get a family package of whatever you're going to sign up for. And then down the road, you'll find people who will be like, hey, I'll give you my Netflix login. You just pitch in like $3. And like by the time you might actually even be making an extra buck off of having Netflix. If you have 4 friends who pitch in for your Netflix subscription, you'll have a great time. Now, that being said, if you're going to do that route, let's be honest, be smart. Don't make the password for your Netflix account the password that you use for everything else, because that's common sense. But let's be honest, common sense is pretty rare nowadays. So if you don't have no common sense, let me just go ahead and tell you this. Your password should be different for every single service you use. I know. It might be a challenge to keep them, in the forefront of your brain, but it doesn't matter. And also, because damn it, this is apparently really hard for people, even myself, to remember, you don't put passwords or login information in plain text ever. Even if it's just for copying for a stupid reason. Doesn't matter. You don't put your passwords or login information, especially the entire login, in plain text and then show it on a live stream like a complete effing dumbass. You just don't do that. By the way, if any of you guys are using my PIA, VPN right now, you're welcome. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you could go through all of my live streams and find I accidentally show my PIA login. And here's another great thing. I don't even give 2 shits if you use it, because I try to change the password for it and you can't. So, yay. Or as far as I know, you can't. Well, actually, I wasn't even worried about the password. I was really more worried it was the password. I couldn't find the thing to even change any of the info. So again, if you want to have access to a free VPN, you can do some hunting on my live streams, find that little bit, get my login, and use it for free. Here's the thing. If you figure out how to change the login, passwords, all that good stuff, don't do it. Again, I got a deal on it. It was super cheap. If you want to use it, sure, go ahead. Have a good time. Just don't be a dick and change the password and everything for everyone else who wants to use it for free. And this stream is sponsored by Dashlane. Yeah, I don't think Dashlane would really ever say okay to my content. Actually, I don't think there would ever be a sponsor that really wants to do business with me. Just saying. Not that I'm like some shady dude, but like I'm not producing quality content. Like I take the Hex DSL approach to this channel. This channel is just me being me, and if you find it enjoyable, hey, that's great. If you don't like the videos that I make, that's cool too, because there's a good chance that it's really not that informative. I try to make it informative, but there's a good chance that it's not. So, imagine making $1 USD every month on sharing Netflix. That's like a bike worth of money in a lifetime. Definitely worth it to exchange that for the fact that you have weird stuff in history. Well, I mean, so that's one good thing about Netflix is the like what saves Netflix and sharing it with other people is just having different profiles for everyone. If they didn't have that, no, like family accounts wouldn't even be a thing. Like if I had to see what my sister watches, like no, I'm not interested in having all of her dramas and like sappy love stories in my history on Netflix and having to sort through like her recommendations. No, absolutely. And she would hate the shows that I watch. Like I'm really into I really like zombie shows, like essentially any zombie show. Like even if it's bad, I'll watch it through just because I like zombies that much. Just because, and she would hate it. You did, lol? Yeah. Oh yeah, I showed my entire login information on PIA, or private internet access, the VPN. again, like I got super scared about it, but then here's the thing. I couldn't figure out how to change any of the info, and when I thought about it, who cares? If you get free access to a VPN because I messed up, that's great. Also, if you try to log in, it's not going to be easy to find how to change the info, and by change the info, all you're doing is proving that you're a jackass, because just use it. It's not like if PIA cared, they make it easy for me to change the info. So who cares? Like, I paid for it, enjoy it. It's got like 400 something days on it. If you're not willing to pay for a VPN and you're willing to put in a little time and effort, go through my streams and you'll find it. There you go. Okay, profiles make sense. Otherwise, yes, every family would have a recommendation of hardcore love story and cartoons. Yes. Yes. Profiles is the only thing that saves Netflix. Only thing. Dude, I couldn't use Netflix for like 2 days without what my sister watches is so polar opposite to what I'm even interested in. Netflix recommendations would be so thrown off. Like, and then my mom watches like a mixture. Like, my mom watches a mixture of what me and my sister are interested in. Also, hers is like horror movies. Like, my mom's the only person that's in my family that's watched Hereditary with me and enjoyed it. Hold on, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna show my screen. I'm gonna show my screen for just a second. See, because I want to show you guys this. Go to a scene view, and we'll just load up another Firefox window. Why not? All right, so Hereditary. Just in case you're unfamiliar with this movie. Okay, so this movie is nuts. This is like, it doesn't matter if you believe in religious stuff at all for this movie to be absolutely horrifying. Because this is the one scary movie I can say that literally, as a grown adult, traumatized me to witness. There is a scene in this movie that if you have any shred of humanity in you, it will bring you to your breaking point. It is by far the most traumatic movie I've ever watched. And as a horror movie, that is, I'm saying something good about it. I'll go ahead and we'll play the trailer here. I'm going to turn down my speakers so I can't hear it, because it would come through the microphone as well. But it is something else. This movie right here is something that, like, for one, the cinematography is incredible. It's amazing. It's an A24 movie, so you know it's got to be good there. And oh, oh, it is nuts.
My mother was a very secretive and private woman.
But I'm not going to show you the whole trailer. Not going to show you the whole thing. Nope, that's not where I want to be. Where's OBS? Here we go. Main webcam. There we go. Now let me get chat loaded back up. Right. Okay. Oh, get a text from my buddy. Okay. There seems to be some good free VPNs. I'm a VPN noob, though. I've never used one. The problem with a free VPN is all of the free VPNs, if you think for a second they're not taking logs on everything that you're doing on there, you'd be wrong. The reason I chose private internet access is because they're one of the very few VPNs out there that have a actual history of when the law comes to them and is requiring them to give them their logs. They've given them, but they're all empty because they delete the logs almost essentially as soon as they come in. And there's even been cases where the law has tried to change that behavior and they don't. So because it's not written into law where they could do that. So they've just tried to put pressure on them, and they're pretty good. I don't use a VPN because I'm a good boy living in a free speech country. I live in a free speech country, brother. That means nothing. Because you're a good boy living in a free speech country, don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. You should still probably use it. Like, here's the thing. Like, you might have seen it. My VPN is running right now. I'm actually streaming from my VPN. There's a reason why I randomly will turn on my VPN, because if you think about it, when you're using your VPN, if you're doing something legitimate on it, which again we all are, we don't ever do anything illegitimate through a VPN because we're all good boys here. We all never do anything wrong, of course, but you're giving added security to yourself and other people on the VPN. When there's normal usage, even if they're keeping logs, the more normal usage on a VPN, the harder it is to find anyone who's doing something that they shouldn't. And see, here's the thing. When I say doing something they shouldn't, what comes to your mind is something horrible for you that like no human being should be doing, but that's not it. Like a lot of countries, like you talking with someone in America, spreading some, or you talking about some type of idea or problems with the government, that can get you killed in places. Like I talk to people in places where they could legitimately get in trouble if the government found out that they were just talking to me. Like there are places like that. What movie is that? That is Hereditary. Hereditary. It is a horror movie that is, well, very horrifying. Just let me tell you, if you want a good scary movie, that's your next one right there, and it will blow your socks off. It's really good. It's really good. I mean, pretty much everything A24 puts out is awesome. So, oh, it is. It's on Netflix now. Hey, okay. Okay. That makes me excited because that means I have another friend who I just need to text him and be like, "Hey, you need to watch Hereditary. It's on Netflix now." Um, uh, I don't know if you're in. You might be somewhere other than the U.S. So if you feel comfortable telling me what country you're in, if it's somewhere other than the U.S., let me know. Because that way I'll tell him to just log in through his VPN there. That way he can watch it. You know. Which is weird because I'm sure there were a few people or at least somebody who was watching that stream when I showed off my login information who is now using my VPN. And it's funny because like my buddy pays for his own VPN. Like he doesn't even, like we don't even share my VPN, but now there's people that I don't really necessarily know that are probably using my VPN and he's paying for his own, which is just sort of funny, But so we're deep into the stream. We've definitely got new people here. I'm about to sneeze. I'm going to need to go blow my nose. But for anyone who wasn't here earlier when I asked this, if you've just popped in, how has your day been? How are you doing? And are you someone who's comfortable in the terminal? Yeah, I'm going to have to go home. Okay. All right. Ooh. I need to head to bed. Didn't realize I gotta go. All good. Thanks for an awesome stream, dude. Thank you for being here. It's been great. Look after my peeper. Will do, man. It hopefully will be even better tomorrow. Maybe it won't look like I still got out of a fight tomorrow. That'd be great. Hereditary. No. I don't know because for some reason I can't tell sarcasm, but just in case that wasn't a joke, I'll actually put it in chat. Oh my god. you put it in there like that, and that made me spell it wrong. Oh gosh. Okay. Let's not misspell it. Let's spell it the right way. Good Lord. Hereditary. Good Lord. There we go. God. Okay. Now, yes, I do have a free VPN. I accidentally exposed my login, so if you want to go back through the couple past, maybe to be safe, I go to the past few live streams. If you want to skim through them, you can try and find it. But I did show my login information, and so if you want to use it, that's fine. Just be aware. Don't, like, there's no way I can stop you, but just don't be an ass and change the login info. If you want to log in and use it, that's fine. That's fine. Benefit from it. I've already paid for it, but don't change the login info. I couldn't really even figure out how to do it. Trying to log into PIA on the website and trying to change it. So I don't think it's going to be easy to anyway. So just don't be an ass. No one's going to do it. Just use the login info if you find it. Again, that's the thing. If you want a free free good VPN, you'll have to put in a little bit of effort and find it. Okay, I'm waiting. How about your girlfriend? I don't have a girlfriend. I'll say this. At the moment, I don't have a girlfriend. I don't plan on having a girlfriend either here soon. Not really. Pretty much stopped using all of the dating apps I was using, and I'm not really going out as much, obviously, because of that thing that happened. Not really going out that much right now, so I doubt I'll have a girlfriend anytime soon. But now, I think girlfriends are only eating up your money. I don't really disagree with that. Having, like, dating is way more expensive. Like, here's the thing, like, girls get offended by that for some reason, but, like, as a dude, if you're going on a date, like, I don't think this is necessary, but just for me, if I go out on a date with a girl and we're splitting like, I take a girl out on a date, we split the check, that's disrespectful to her in my eyes. So it's just by nature more expensive to have a girlfriend than to go out with a dude. Because if me and a buddy go out to eat, we're splitting the check. Like, that's just happening. Here in Nigeria, we are blocked from Twitter. I need a VPN, please. Again, so hunt through the live streams, you can find it. Again, you want a free good VPN? There you go. There are also free VPNs that you can find already out there. So you don't have to hunt and find my login info. You can find a free VPN. Just the free VPN is going to keep logs on what you're doing, which if you're just going to use it for Twitter, doesn't matter. But if you want a free good VPN, PIA is what I use. But you'll have to do some hunting for it. But I don't think it'd be that crazy for you to do it. I mean, it's not like I'm saying go through all of my live streams, and it's like 15 live streams ago. It's just in the past few. I can't remember which one it was, but again, in the past few live streams it happened. I want to become a full stack developer, but I'm broke. Don't have money for internet connection. Ooh, rough. See, here's the thing. I don't even know what can you explain what full stack developer even means? Like, I have no idea what that even means. Do you program? Yes, I do. I do some bash programming. I program. I can easily program in C# for stuff like Unity. I know the very, very basics of C. for C and C++. But again, for both of those, I'm talking like very basics, because like in a game engine like Unreal, I mean, if I'm going to be using that, the blueprint system for visual coding is fine. I don't have any problem with that. I also know GD script, which is essentially Python. Like, it's so effing close to Python, it's not funny. That's for Godot. But most of my programming knowledge, other than Bash, which is for Linux, the born again shell, most of my programming skills in Bash are like just for writing like simple scripts for doing stuff on my computer. Yes, and you also stealing a value. Wait, hold on. Yes, and also stealing a valued free time you could spend in Emacs. Oh my God. Girlfriends are not a good way to spend your life. No, 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 no. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, girlfriends do eat up into the time that you could be spending learning Vim and installing all your Vim plugins. Sorry, that was just to piss off Peter. Yeah, no. Emacs too. That is weird. I thought Nigeria is full of kings and princes offering some money. No, it's not filled with them. It's just there's like 14 Nigerians in one building who send out like 9 million emails to the rest of the world telling them that they're a prince and like, hey, can you send me money? So to be exact, there's 14 not so princes in a building that are sending you those messages. Because I believe in Nigeria, it's pretty much like India when it comes to spammers. Like, they're really look like they're seen as like the worst of the population. Like, they're what makes their country look bad. What are you smoking? Oh, so this is my Nick stick, or my nicotine vape, because I used to smoke. And what I'm vaping is, it's called Solus. This is, yeah, Blues Mango. Hopefully that's legible. I'm waiting till it gets up into the camera. Okay, yeah, it's pretty readable. But yeah, so that's that. And then this here is my Delta 8 vape, which is essentially legal weed. It's like the less potent version of weed, because where I live, apparently the God's given weed that just grows out of the ground has to be legal for some reason. Actually, if you look up on why it's illegal in America, it's a pretty interesting story, and also funny. Do you have any Arduino board? Yes, I do. Now that I'm trying to think about it, I have an Arduino Uno, but I have no idea where it is. It's been a long time since I used it. Now, Peter, don't be mean, okay? And I don't think the comment was very mean at all, but just, again, not everyone knows that like the correct etiquette is just Felix, or Felix or Anthony. Both of those are sort of first names, so I'm not sure which one you're going by, because in some countries the first name comes actually after the last name, which has always been interesting to me, but whatever. Felix, just so you know, caps lock in chat is not okay. It's sort of like you're trying to shout over everyone. Just saying. Really, you have an Arduino? You're using ULisp on it? As far as I know, no. The last time I was messing around with it, I was just using whatever the Arduino coding language is. I have no idea what it is, but I just used their app. And most of the time, most of the things I used to do with my Arduino were so simple that like also it's been so long since I messed around with it. I have no idea. I know it was a nifty little thing to play around with for a while, but there's not really a practical use for me to have an Arduino. Like, I'm not really there's nothing that I want to do when it comes to like projects like that, I just don't really have that urge, I guess, to make projects and robots and shit and all that. Like I really, the reason I bought the Arduino was to make another door lock with it, like automatic door lock, where the idea was to have one of those clap things, like the clapsters where you know, double clap and like it would just lock the door. The weak point of that was those clap things. Like they really effing suck. Like they're horrible. They'll pick up like half the time. Yeah, I have an Arduino, but I'm not medically okay, or no money. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I will go ahead and tell you this. I had a buddy who passed away from, well, he passed away last year, not from schizophrenia, but he had schizophrenia. Just saying here, don't get to the point where you don't want help. Understand you have a condition and know that you still need help for it. Please. Just make sure you have people around you that will look out for you and make sure that you're okay. But I will say one thing, you can get through it, man. You'll get through it. People usually do those small LED screens with YouTube subscribers or animations. Yes, those are always pretty nifty. Like I like those. But here's the thing for me. The reason why Arduinos and stuff break down is like, if you're going to do it as a project just to DIY because DIY is really, really fun for you, that makes sense. But for me, I can order like one of those already pre-built for like $20 and just like wirelessly hook it up and have an app on my phone that sends it text. So like it doesn't really make sense for me because I'm not one of those like DIY. Even though it can be fun, it's not something that I'm like super into. I'm more interested in, you know, tinkering around with my actual computer and how I use it, more than anything else. But that being said, I mean, still nice to have them because even though I have no idea where this house it's at, when I find it, I'll probably mess around with it for a while. I mean, they're fun to mess around with. But the building part is the best. It's like Emacs, but in HW. In hardware. I was like, wait, HW. It took me a second for that to click. I mean, I don't disagree. It's not like it's not fun, but just for me, it's not like as fun. Like if I'm going to be building something, like for me, building an entire computer that's going to be like my workstation is fun because putting it together, like it's my computer. I'm going to be using it all the time. I don't know. I'm weird like that. Like a thing that's going to be behind me that really isn't all that much. I'm not as interested as building that from scratch myself as I am like something like a computer. You guys hate caps lock. We don't hate caps lock. It's just, so again, I don't know how familiar you are with like internet etiquette, but you can look it up and figure out what internet etiquette is. But it's bad internet etiquette. It's bad social interaction to type in all caps lock all the time, because it's just like if you walked into a room, like right now, I'm having a conversation right now. If I started screaming right now, like it doesn't make me look good. It makes me look, you know, like an aggressive or, you know, somebody who's trying to scream over someone, like everyone else's chat. That's essentially what caps lock is. You're essentially yelling, but in text. So it's bad etiquette to do all caps lock. Let's say we can read our thoughts and get it displayed on the screen. Don't know what you mean by that. Yeah, but nowadays building a computer is not as fun as it used to be. You can't put in the GPU in a CPU slot or RAM and a say. Wait, hold on. You cannot put GPU in a CPU slot or RAM into SATA. So where's the fun in that? I mean, you do have a good point. I mean, you can't put RAM into a SATA slot, but at that point, wait, why? Uh, Channel idea: screaming only streams. I don't think any of my family would be okay with that idea. Like a 3 hour stream where I'm only screaming. For one, the next day you're definitely not going to get a video, or if you do, it's gonna be like, I lost my voice and can't talk. It'll be awful. Yeah, I don't. And also, like, my mom is working from home, so like I'd have to record at like later in the afternoon, and even then, like, she probably would wants to watch TV, not just hear her son scream in his room. like, like, no, Linux, the Linux terminal is not scary. It's not scary. It's easy to use. It's not frightening. I don't know why I pointed at the whiteboard, but it's not like I had anything up there. Whatever. Um, I mean, building a PC 30 years ago was all about correct jumpers, and you could destroy your hardware by incorrect settings. So you're forced to know more. But now, order at Dell.com. I agree with you to a point. I agree with you that in the past you had to know more so that you didn't ruin your system. Now, the only difference, it's not that it's gotten too simple and it's like removed the fun. It's that there's almost no chance that you're going to put together your computer and break stuff, because almost everything is like sockets, slots, plug holes, all that shit. They're all different sizes and they're only going to match with what needs to go in there. So it's removed the part of you breaking your shit just because you don't know what you're doing. Still requires you to know something to have a functioning computer afterwards. Because trust me when I say I have helped a lot of people build computers, and you would not believe the amount of people who set RAM in their motherboard, not push it in. I'm talking about they just set it on the spot and call it a done deal, and are confused as to why their computer won't boot up. Or the other great one is they don't plug in a graphics card and they have a CPU that clearly would not come with a built-in graphics. And then they're confused as to why the computer will turn on, but there's no output to the monitor. I've also helped someone build a computer who did not plug HDMI in because they insisted that I just be there to help when something didn't work, and I couldn't offer my advice that they needed to plug in an HDMI cable, and they were confused as to why they couldn't get a signal, which was interesting. But let's say we break down our thoughts. I mean, the voltage levels like EEG signals and machines pick up at the hospital, like a computer brain interface. Well, we already technically have those, technically, but that's not accurate, and it's not an accurate system, and that takes away all the fun of using a computer. If your computer just does what you want it to instantly, at that point, it's not really a computer anymore in the way that we think about computers now. Like, computers are to help you get something done. Create, like, normally a lot of people use computers nowadays, like when we're not talking about for work, like your business computer, like your personal computer, you're either using it to watch stuff, which, I mean, a brain interface for that would be cool. But most people are using it for creative work. And if you take all of the creativity out of, well, being creative, and all it takes is for you to think something, I mean, you've sort of removed all of the fun out of creating stuff. So also, that technology is so far away that it doesn't really matter. I mean, There are even headsets you can buy now that use your brain waves to, like, in VR to do different stuff. And even those, I've seen videos on them. They're pretty inaccurate. Screaming CD RMs, RM-RF, yeah. No way one channel had tried it. Even a girl could build a computer. Imagine that, even a girl. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about this for a second. Have you seen The Verge's How to Build a Computer video? Please tell me you haven't seen it. Because if you haven't seen it, we're going to watch it now. Now. It is one of the best videos I have ever witnessed in my entire existence. It is the best. Damn it. I really hope you say you haven't seen it, because if you haven't, that's going to be amazing. Let me go ahead and I'm going to load up chat on my phone here just in case you say you haven't seen it. And we're going to load it up. We're going to watch it together, but I'm going to keep chat over here so that we can watch it together. Again, because we got I don't want talk chat. I want actual live chat. Thanks, YouTube. Like, YouTube, what the hell is wrong with you? Default to live chat. Could the people who run YouTube stop smoking meth for like 30 seconds and do a good job? Jesus. I haven't, but it's like square goes in square. Oh my Christ. Yes. I'm going to show you how hard, apparently, it can be to build a computer. God, yes. Fuck yes. Okay, let's do this. Let me go into OBS. I'm going to pop out of my scene view. I'm going to make my camera visible so that you can still see me. And then I'm going to do Shift R here. We're going to go over here, and we're going to go right here and search Verge PC build. Okay, here's a reaction supercut. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Need it right. Shit. Okay. All right. Got headphones. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Put these bad boys. Oh my Christ, that hurt. Okay. I've got my headphones all tangled up. Who cares? Let's go around here. Oh man, this is an event. I am so excited for this. I cannot believe you haven't seen this. This is going to be epic. Okay, let's watch this. There is
a video.
Hold on.
That a lot of people have been sharing in my Discord.
I kept getting notifications over and over and over to review this thing before it gets taken down.
On September the 13th of this year, The Verge published a video on YouTube.
This is a notoriously bad video, apparently. I haven't watched it yet.
Apparently, it was like a total fucking shit show.
How we built $2,000 gaming PC.
But I've been told it is extremely bad, and it's full of things that you just shouldn't do when building a gaming PC.
At first, I admit, I thought it was satire.
So a few years ago, TC, or managing editor...
Hi, Stefan. You probably shouldn't have included your Twitter handle here, because I imagine you're just going to get absolutely flamed from the...
Oh, this guy talking about how he shouldn't have shared his name. This dude essentially got bullied off of the internet for this video. Just gonna go ahead and preface that. Also, he lost his job.
Internet.
That's how bad this video is.
For around $1,000.
Which is true.
Well, yeah, you can build a gaming desktop for around $1,000, or $350, or $250, or $200, or $175, or $150, or sometimes even $100. But yeah, sure, $1,000.
I want to go all out, so I spent around $2,000.
$2,000 is a decent chunk of change for a gaming PC.
Games. So, what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table. Preferably not metal.
Hold on, time out. Time out.
So, what do you need to build a desktop?
Hold on, this is a supercut. Let me see if I can just get his video where I can talk about it. Here. Oh, here it is, the re-upload.
So a few years ago, TC, or managing editor, built a gaming desktop, but it's kind of out of date, and it's definitely not going to hold up for Battlefield 5. So let's build a new one. You can build a gaming desktop for around $1,000, but I want to go all out, so I spent around $2,000. PC like this is going to be able to play most games.
all out, went $2,000. Man, I've seen computers been built for like $5,000. Like all out at $2,000 is not necessarily all out. That's going to be a great gaming computer, but that's not like straight balling.
Games at ultra settings. So, what do you need to build a desktop? Well, of course, first you need a table.
You need a table. Like if you're not prepped and ready for how bad this is going to get, he's specifying that to build a computer, you're going to need, well, a place to build a computer.
Preferably
Yeah,
not metal.
it's going to get
If
bad.
it's going to be metal, have an anti-static working surface layered on top of it, a thermal paste applicator, and
I have never seen one of those before. A thermal paste applicator, I have no idea what the hell that thing is for. No idea. So what's the future of AI? Are we truly going to Mars? I mean, yeah, we're going to Mars, but the future of AI, like, that's a loaded question. The future of AI is, well, artificial intelligence. Just like anything else, it'll get better and better until one day, guess what? It's still getting better because there will always be things it can improve on. And the ultimate question of what happens when it becomes sentient, we'll have to create laws on how you treat your AI. And you can't be a jackass or do illegal shit to your AI. Life will get more complicated, just like life continues to get more like that's a loaded question that really the answer to is not that exciting. Like everybody wants to make it doom and gloom, but come on, it's not. Bro, just squeeze the paste. Exactly. Oh, guys, if you haven't seen this video, we are gonna get, I mean,
Allen wrench, some
it's gonna get
tight
incredible.
wires, a Swiss Army knife.
An Allen wrench. The fuck? Nothing that comes with a computer needs an Allen wrench. The zip ties are a nice touch, but let me tell you something. When you buy a computer case, it's going to come with zip ties. When you buy a power supply, it's going to come with zip ties. Like, you don't need extra zip ties on hand, but sure, it's a nice touch just in case, whatever you bought that did come with them didn't come with enough. Cool.
Knife, which hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver in it.
What? He just said a multi-tool with that hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver in it. Just in case you don't know this, when you're building a computer, almost every single damn thing that's going to have a screw on it, in it, whatever, it's going to be Phillips head. I don't know what the fuck in a computer uses an Allen wrench. Don't ask me. Never seen it. I've built plenty of computers. I mean, I don't even know. I've built at least 20 computers and not one had an Allen wrench thing that I needed it for. And like, no. Okay. And everything had Phillips head. That's ridiculous. Hopefully has a Phillips head. What the?
And
again, we're only 41 seconds in.
Static bracelet, which is to protect you.
Okay, we're going to touch on this here in just a second. Fuck is Allen wrenching? Exactly. Oh, don't worry. The thermal paste stuff we're gonna get to. I mean, I'm telling you guys, like you think building computers has gotten to the point where anyone can do it. This man right here, who's doing this for his job, and who I would assume because he's a journalist did some research, cannot. Now he's talking about an anti-static wrist bracelet right here, and yes, that's true. If you're not going to be if you're going to be working on carpet, or you have a desk that's metal for some ungodly, like you have a stainless steel table that you're going to be working on. Like, yeah, it's nice to have an anti-static wrist strap because you put it on and it's got a little metal plate on it that sticks against your skin, and it's got this cord that you'll attach to your power supply. You'll plug your power supply into the wall and don't turn it on, but just plug it into the wall. That way it's grounded, and that wrist strap and bracelet will keep you grounded at all points. So if you're rubbing against the carpet, you build up some static, and you touch something, it doesn't break anything because the static won't even build up. It'll get released through that bracelet. Now, what this man is holding here is a "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet. It's a rubber band that goes around your hand that does nothing. That's not even an anti-static wrist strap. That is literally a "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet.
And the parts? These are the parts you're going to need, but more importantly, before we get there, we need to understand what these...
Okay, so if you don't know what we're watching right now, this is, well, it's titled The Verge's Shitty PC Build Guide, re-upload, because they took it down. This man got fired for doing this video, if you weren't here to hear me say that. Yes, this is a journalist who did this video about how to build, like, this is a guide on how you should build a computer. Just keep that in mind for the rest of this video. This is a guide on how you should properly build a computer. And we've already touched on some things, like he's got an Allen wrench in here, a device for spreading thermal paste that I have never in my life seen, except in this video. And you need a multi-tool that hopefully has the screwdriver in it that every single thing inside of a computer is going to use. Again, hopefully you got that. Oh, and you also need your beautiful "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet.
Parts are doing and how they interact with one another. To better understand the parts that make up a desktop, let's try to understand them individually.
Okay.
The processor is like the computer's brain, a base of calculations that control everything the computer does. The motherboard is like the foundation, serving as a main structure for all other parts to be added to. It also allows the other parts to communicate with one another, which also makes it kind of like a nervous system. Graphics cards are responsible for rendering and processing visuals into what you see on screen. Our PC's power supply is, of course, channeling electricity, in that it adjusts and provides the right amount of energy to keep it running. Last but not least, RAM, or random access memory, and your hard drive are good examples of short-term and long-term memory, respectively. If you want to better understand what kind of...
Very basic, but that's what they're doing here. It's like an infographic. They're breaking it down. Very basic, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Build, then first figure out what you want to use it for. A gamer might care more about a graphics card than, say, a video editor who might want extra RAM to assist with editing large files. If you're building a budget build for video streaming, say under $1,000, you want to focus on parts, like a Core i5 or Core i3 processor, that require less energy. They'll be less powerful, but then you'll be able to scale back the cost of several other parts. And if you need help choosing the right parts for your build, there are sites like PCPartPicker.com that help show presets for which parts fit together, which sort of part conflicts you might have, and where to find deals on new parts. We have a lot of boxes and a lot of PC parts, so it's best you unbox them, isolate the parts that you really need.
Okay, so I don't know if you saw that in that really fast cut there, but he ripped open the PSU box, and that's hilarious to me. Like, hold on, let's see if we can go back in here and catch it. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. He tore that box open. Look at it. Do you see it? It's one of those ones where you literally, you just hold up the lip and you just keep going over with it. He just ripped it open for like no reason. Like, dude, like you don't have to be a complete animal with it. But wait, maybe a spoiler. Does it boot? If yes, he did it. I won't ruin that spoiler because trust me when I say it's worth sticking around to the end.
Isolate the parts that you really need, place items into the case, and make sure that they all fit, and then start working. And now we're really going to start building by adding the motherboard in. Some notes about installing motherboards: they're really delicate, you should be really careful with them, and screw in with confidence, but also don't screw in too hard, otherwise you could crack the board.
What? Like, okay, be delicate with the motherboard. I mean, that's sort of like a good piece of advice. I mean, like, you don't want to be an absolute ape with it, but you don't have to like hold it like it's some precious gemstone that if you sneeze the wrong way, it's going to explode like it's tannerite or some shit. Like it's built to last. Like, it's just, you don't want to be like an ape and just like huck it down on the table. Like, like a gorilla, like just be a normal person. But okay, but screw in with confidence, but don't screw in too hard. Could you tell me what the fuck screwing in with confidence means? What? does that even mean? And the way I would put it is just screw it in and don't, as soon as you get resistance, stop. Because you don't need to cram it down in there. It's not like it needs to survive, you know, being driven in a Humvee in war zone, like in war-torn Afghanistan, jumping dunes. Like it just needs to keep from sliding out of there. You just screw it in, and then as soon as the screw stops, well, you stop turning. The screwing with, like, what the? Okay, and then here we've stopped at a perfect frame because this mofo, after he's talking about, you know, be careful with the motherboard, he's doing the literal one thing that you don't do with a motherboard or any other component. Most of your components will come in this bag here. This bag that his motherboard is sitting on top of, that is called an anti-static bag. Okay? The way these work is the component that is inside of them, the inside layer of it is anti-static. So it won't build up static. That's what anti-static means. The outside of the bag, though, is not. It's not. It's the entire, most of them are actually metal alloys on the outside of it. So it's actually like setting your motherboard on top of a steel table. This absolute mongoloid right here is doing literally the one thing he's not supposed to. He could set it on top of the box it came in. I don't know, that glorious table that you apparently need. God, like this dude. General life rule: if it resists, just stop, bruh. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good life rule to live by. Yeah, you really don't.
Asus's Z370 motherboard for two main reasons. One, it has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and also it has support for NVMe SSDs, meaning you can get really fast SSDs that are really easy to install. Pay close attention to the brace that goes at the back of the computer. You always have to make sure that you really hammer it in, because there's no...
Nope. What you don't do is hammer that thing in. Okay, look, that thing is a bitch to get in. The back IO panel, because most people want to treat it like it's going to clip in there like a Tupperware thing. You know, you go around the edge of your Tupperware and it just snaps in there like nothing. That IO panel, you're going to really have to push it in there in the middle, and it will, the plate itself will warp a bit, but you need to get it in there and push it in and it'll snap in place. If you hammer around the edges, what you're going to do is, I mean, it will go in, but it will never come out. So, no, you don't fucking hammer your IO panel in like an ape. Again, that's pretty much the only guideline to building a computer nowadays is don't be a freaking ape. This man right here is just like, yeah, be an ape. And by the way, if you notice, his IO panel is actually not even all the way in.
It really just has to go outside of the case and clasp onto the frame. And this is very important because otherwise you can't align the motherboard correctly with the hole.
And see, here's the thing, like that made me cringe right there. You see how he's setting it on the like standoffs and then moving it on the standoffs? No, that's not how you do it. You put all of the connectors, you go in at an angle, you find the angle at which you can just turn it and they all just plop in, and then you just drop it like maybe a ½ millimeter and all of the holes are over it. The reason you do it that way is because when you set it on standoffs and then just start moving it, you're going to scrape the back of the motherboard, possibly breaking connections. Again, this mongoloid here has no idea how to build a... Like, literally, all you have to do is watch one Linus Tech Tips video, and you know half of this shit right here is not needed, and also he's doing it the wrong way.
8 screws. So next we're going to install the RAM on the motherboard. I chose Corsair's 16GB Vengeance LED RAM for two main reasons. One, it has LEDs, and we do like lights in our gaming desktops.
Okay. It's got LEDs. So, okay.
Secondly,
I mean, I have RAM with LEDs in it, but that's not one of the reasons I chose it. It was really fast memory, but okay. Also, just in case you don't know this, when you buy faster RAM, they are also normally with RGB lights on them too, because when you're spending more money for faster RAM, they normally just throw in small details like 3 LEDs or something like that, just in there to spruce it up.
it's pretty fast RAM. It's 2,666 megahertz, I believe. So it's pretty fast, and this motherboard supports that.
Thanks, Peter.
Which is most important. Open the slots first, and just aligning the stick with the middle of the screen.
Hold up. He's got 2 RAM sticks, and he just opened up all of them. Why? Again, not a major problem. It's not like he's going to break anything, but just why? We'll get to why you shouldn't here in just a second.
Not with the end, and just lining that up with the logo. So once you hear that solid clasp and you don't see the gold connectors on the side anymore, that's when you know the RAM is in. Step 3, we're going to install the hard.
All right. Hold up. Let's see if this overlay will go away. Hopefully it does. I don't think it will. Oh, hold on. My eyes just. Oh, yeah. Okay. If you can see behind this bar down here, you'll see that the RAM sticks are together, both in the middle. Read your motherboard. No motherboard out there does that. If you have 4 slots, they're normally like either in the 1 and 3 position or 2 and 4 position. If you're going to be doing 2, he's going to turn this computer on and it will boot. It will boot because one of those slots has RAM in it. But the problem is, well, most likely it will boot as long as he's got one of those sticks are in the correct slot, which most motherboards work off of the 2 and 4 slot. So most likely he's got one stick in the correct slot. The other one is not. So when he turns it on, it'll boot RAM wise. I won't spoil whether or not it actually boots at the end, but based off of RAM, it should boot because one will be detected. The other one won't. So if he's got 16 gigs or 32, however much he said, only half of it's going to be detected by the system. The other half might as well not even be in there. So this dude literally not only didn't do research, like the most basic research, but also didn't even bother with reading the instructions that came with his motherboard. So that's awesome.
Drive, or in this case, the NVMe SSD. I chose this format of
yes, it is.
drive,
it's a network
so
gaming
you can
card.
Put it into the motherboard without having to worry about extra wires or putting it in a separate part of the case and just getting really messy. This is from Kingston, and it's 480 gigabytes, so it's not a lot, but you can always upgrade this and swap it out, and it's only held down by 1 screw and the latch, so it's really simple and really straightforward. Speed for gaming is important when it comes to a hard drive. You want files to write quickly, and you want games to load
What is he
quickly,
doing?
so that's
What is he doing?
Use an SSD. Okay, so step 4.
Hold on. I need to see a top-down view on this bad boy. Here we go.
Bracket with.
Okay, look, that M.2 SSD, if you saw it in there when he put it in, like he didn't put it in at first, it dropped down to the very bottom. That means like your motherboard will typically either come with it already in there or in the box. Now this is from a while ago. Now motherboard manufacturers almost always have the screw already in there, but there's like a little standoff for the M.2 because it goes in at an angle up like this. So it goes in like that, and then you screw it down onto the standoff so that it lays completely flat with the connector. So that, it pushes down, and then when it gets down, like essentially the connectors in it, like they're spring loaded, and so you put them in, and then you force that connection to be really tight down flat. He just screwed it in like this, so that entire, like he screwed it down to the motherboard, so that entire NVMe drive is being bent. Like it probably will still work, but it probably won't last very long because again, once you're using it and you're writing a lot of stuff to it, it's going to get warm, and with it being bent like that, as it gets warm, it's going to warp. It's most likely not going to last long.
The back end bracket of your PC case. Now, which lane you choose depends entirely on what other parts you're going to put in the system. I'm just gonna pick the top one because the SSD is at the bottom and I don't want to cover it.
That is the most no thing you should ever hear. No. If you are putting together a computer, the graphics card goes in the first slot, not because you want to be able to see your mutilated SSD that you don't know how to install correctly. No, it goes in the top slot because that's the slot that's going to get the most bandwidth. If he had chosen the second slot, there is a damn good chance that he would only be getting half of the bandwidth of the first slot. So his expensive graphics card that he bought would perform literally about 20 to 25% worse just because of that decision alone. No. Don't be stupid. Now, if you want to put, the only reason you would ever put something above your graphics card is if you're putting in two graphics cards. That's it. Like, there's no acceptable, there's no other piece of technology that you're going to plug into a PCI slot that deserves more bandwidth than your graphics card. Period. End of discussion. Period. If your graphics card is going into the second slot, it's because you got another graphics card in the first slot. End of discussion. Because I want to see my SSD. I mean, dude, you can, wanting to see your SSD is one thing, but literally destroying the performance of your computer and putting it in a build guide because you want to see your SSD is stupid. Luckily, he chose the first slot because he can see his SSD there. Effing retard, whatever. Yes, I use non-PC terms here and I don't care. If it boots, you're a PC master.
I think it looks nice.
Okay.
Take your remaining brackets.
Let me just go ahead and say this. We are not even halfway through this video, and I can already tell you it would be an absolute miracle if this thing was to boot after all of this abuse.
Just put them in the spots that you haven't used. You don't have to screw these in. They get bolted down by the back-end bracket. And your GPU's installed.
Just so you know, not every computer is like that with a bracket. Some of them you just screw into the actual PC slots, but
Power supply time.
Again, he doesn't know that much, so it's not, I can't, after everything else that's wrong with this video, that's like the smallest gripe you could possibly come up with.
I chose Corsair's 850 watt power supply because I need enough headroom for ray tracing GPUs when they come out, and I don't want to have to upgrade it again. So all you have to do is take the brick and make sure that you align it with these little insulating pads so that the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest.
This absolute mongoloid. Those are not insulating pads. They are rubber, so they are insulating, but they're anti-vibration pads. You put them in there because your power supply has a fan in it, and all of the fans in your system, as long as you're not cheaping out on fans, if you buy good fans, they will come with rubber mounts because fans spin, vibration makes noise, and so you try to dampen it so your computer is more silent. A lot of cheap cases are all metal on the inside, and most cheap power supplies don't even have paint on them, and they don't short circuit. No. Continue.
So just take it in, slide it in nice and easy until you have a snug fit. And
I will take it from him, okay? I will pause the video and address this. I will take it from him because that is the biggest technicality in that you could give him. Like, technically it is rubber, but literally what he's stating there is not true. Like, you're not, if you buy a power supply that short circuits like that, it's because you spent $5 on a Chinese power supply that said it was a 1200 watts. Like, come on. Like, there's no way you get any decent power supply with any safety features in it that do this. That's not true. No. No. No, 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 no.
And then shift it to the back and make sure it's right up
He gets-
against the frame.
He gets no love from me, okay? No love.
Now you just take the required screws and you tighten.
Oh, look at that. Thank God this man has a multi-tool with a screwdriver. Like, why wouldn't you just have a Phillips head screwdriver? Everything in the computer uses a Phillips head screwdriver. Jesus. But thank God he luckily has one.
And screw in. So next step, we're going to install the CPU cooler. In this case, it's going to go on the top end of the case, and we're just going to have the hose hang out for a little while until we install the processor, which is going to come a little later. Always be sure to...
Oh, I didn't even think about that. He's doing this in the complete wrong order, because just in case you guys don't know how normally building computers goes, what you do is you put together the computer outside of the case before it goes in there. That way you can test to make sure everything works, like nothing's broken straight from the factory. That's very, very rare, but you normally just, it's best practice. Now, even if you're not going to do that, because normally I've gotten to the point where I haven't had an ARM8, like a product that came broken, or DOA, dead on arrival. I haven't had that. I don't even know. It's been at least 7 years since I've had that happen. So I normally always put my computers, because I build computers quite frequently for other people and myself. Now, I've really gotten to the point now where I just put it together in the computer. Like, I don't test outside of the computer. But that being said, the normal order it goes is you put processor in first, then cooler, because the cooler will give you something to pick it up and hold it by. But he's doing water cooling, so normally for me too, I do it this way, where I would actually already have the processor and RAM and everything installed in the motherboard, and then put it in the case, and then install the water cooling and keep it outside of the case until the last minute. Like, keep all the cords and hoses out. That way I can, plug in other stuff and it's not unwieldy going around there. But he doesn't even have the processor in here. I totally forgot about that. That's not even in here because he hasn't bragged about it yet, which is, that's going to be the best part about this. I'm going to rail him on this.
Try to place it in the system first before you install it, because you can see it takes up a lot of space. But in this case, no pun intended, it fits in perfectly, and we're
good, because that would be a horrible fucking pun.
going to start screwing it in. And so there's nothing special about this screwing in process. They're just really long screws.
No. Let's listen to him here for a second.
Because they go through the entire frame of the cooler.
No. Never do this. Okay. As somebody who has had water coolers before, this is not only the worst advice ever, this is literally, this has like a 95% chance of breaking your water cooler. Like, the level at which this is stupid is insane, because the water cooler itself will come with 8 different screws, 8 long ones, 8 short ones, because if you're going to be putting your fans onto it, the cooler, you want to put the long screws through the fan and then screw just the fucking screw part into the screw on the radiator. If the fans are going to be inside the case, you're going to use the long screws to screw your fans to it, and the short ones to screw it to the case. The long ones, if the fans are, on top of the radiator and with the case, you're going to use the long screws and go through there, and the short screws you don't need. Like, you're always going to use the long screws, but they go with your fan. They go through the fan, not the entire fucking water cooler. Do not be a troglodyte like this man, okay? Jesus. Now I get why reaction videos are so long. If you stop every 2 seconds with this is the worst thing you can do, it makes makes it like 137 worse things. Yeah, yeah. Dude, I mean, this dude's doing everything wrong here. Everything wrong. Like, if his radiator doesn't immediately start leaking or very soon after this start leaking all over the internals, it is a miracle.
And they take forever. So next up, cable.
Yeah, they take forever because you're screwing through the entire radiator. You're puncturing the part that holds water, you moron.
Every power supply is going to come with a big bag of Velcro cables. It's kind of daunting at first, so you always have to find the ones that are going to fit. In this case, you need to match.
Okay, not every power supply is going to come with cables disconnected from it. If you don't ball out on like a, well, he's got about 130 at the time. I don't know, it could be cheaper now, but it's probably about $130 power supply. So yeah, that's a pretty good power supply, and it's fully modular, so it means all of the power cables come separate. Most power supplies that most people buy are not fully modular, so they're not even going to come with these types of cables. Also, most power supplies, even modular ones, don't normally come with different sizes of the same cables. Just saying. Just saying. When you spend good money, you get that stuff, but yeah, most people don't have that. Just saying. No, he put the GPU into the right slot by mistake, sure. But still, yes, he did put it in the right slot. By mistake and giving horrible advice. But yeah, he did. We'll give him that. It did at least go in correctly into the right slot. So good job, bro. You know how to plug the simplest thing into. I'm surprised he remembered to put the latch down on the slot. He didn't even talk about it, but I saw it in the video. So at least he remembered to do that before he plugged it in, because otherwise that would have broken the motherboard. Now, not where it wouldn't function, but when he wanted to remove the power or graphics card the next time, that wouldn't be an option. Or it would just fall right out. It wouldn't even have a clicking thing. But anyway, divulging. So there is an actual correct steps. Just make sure that you can see the SSD on the motherboard and you're good to go. Damn straight, man. That's all you need. All you need. Care about the SSD, nothing else. You know, that $1,000 graphics card that you spent all that money on? Dude, fuck the performance of it. All that matters is you can see that $80 SSD that you cheaped out on. Because if you didn't notice it, the NVMe drive that he got was actually SATA 3 SSD speeds. So he might as well just bought an SSD. Didn't even ball out and get the good NVMe drive.
Those cables with the correct descriptions on the power supply. Next step is we're connecting the power supply to the motherboard with a 24-pin cable. We're just matching that cable from the motherboard, threading it through the back, and attaching the 24-pin header to the power supply so that we can have one of the connections complete. The next few additions will be for the GPU, for any specific ports that the case has, for any lighting that the case has, the CPU cooler, anything else really. We're installing...
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is where he brags about the CPU. This is like my favorite part.
The heart of the computer, or the brain, depending on how you look at it. So to do this, we're just going to remove the ring that they put on the motherboard.
Brag about it.
Take this little plastic part out. We'll just toss that out of here.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't toss it out, because if you turn it on and your motherboard doesn't work, you're going to need that to RMA it, because the motherboard manufacturer won't accept you sending back the motherboard without that little plastic clip right there. Just saying. So don't just toss it, and also keep it in there, because when you put your CPU in, it'll just pop right on out. That's there to protect the socket. Again, it says that on there, but this man doesn't know how to read, so... I mean, like, come on, he's a fucking journalist. Like, Jesus, bro.
And now we have an exposed CPU holder.
Hell yeah, you do.
On the motherboard. And we're going to use the CPU applicator. This is a special little part.
I've never seen that before. You could ask me. Shit, bro. What in the fuck is a CPU applicator? What? Never seen it. Never heard of it. Don't know what the point of it is. because you just line up the golden triangle on your CPU with the motherboard. It's got a little indicator there too. The instructions in the freaking motherboard tell you this too. Installing a CPU is like literally the only thing that you have to know is just don't be an absolute ape about it and shove it in there. Just let it drop. That's it. If you drop it and it's not fully seated in there, pick it back up again. Maybe try and realign it, do a little bit better job of aligning it, drop it, it'll fall right in. Bruh. What?
Part that not everyone may get, but this motherboard that we got from ASUS definitely does have. It's called a CPU installation tool.
Oh, okay. So if you spend $350 on a motherboard, you'll get one of those things that I have never seen in my life. Never needed to. Epic. Awesome.
It makes it really useful if you want to install a Core i7 hexa-core CPU. Yeah, we've got one, and it's...
Yeah. Thank you. He finally does it. Yeah, we got one. Hold on, I'm gonna back this up just so you can hear it again, okay? This is great.
ASUS definitely does have. It's called a CPU installation tool. It makes it really useful if you want to install a Core i7 hexa-core CPU. Yeah, we've got one.
Yeah, we've got one. An Intel hexa-core CPU. We've got one. Just so you understand, even at the time of filming this, this was not Intel's top of the line chip. Yeah. This dude just bragged that they have their hands on a already released, not some sort of, Intel exclusive that they send out to reviewers or some shit. Like, no, he's got a regular desktop i7 and not even the highest end one. Because I'm pretty sure this was either the year or the year before they came out with i9s. Bro, he's bragging about a chip that most streamers would buy. And the way he does this, yeah, we've got one. Like, yeah, that's right. We're better than you. We've got money. Like, bro, what? Okay. All right. Cool beans, man. You got a very sensible chip for a video editor. And wow. Not even the highest tier one. It's not like it's an Intel Extreme Edition. Jesus.
It's an 8th generation chip, and it's ready to go. And it supports overclocking.
God, this is
so what having this
too good.
installer does for you is it's basically a brace that you can apply.
Like, look, this dude doesn't even know how to do it. He's like, you take this thing and you put it in here, and like, this is why this thing is the most dipshit tool ever. Wouldn't it be just as easy to hold the damn thing? Like, you're gonna put it in some special socket to hold. Why don't you just fucking hold it? Like I assume this device was made for the rich people who can't afford to have brain cells.
CPU,
what?
And light it up with the triangles that you'll see on the bottom left corners. And this will make it easier.
I love your comment, dude. You know, I'm something of an i7 user myself, or owner myself. I like that. That's good. Yep, man, you're running an i10, and yeah, you've got it. You balling, bro. Straight balling. Like, nobody has what you have. Like, what is wrong with this guy?
So apply it to the motherboard, and then apply thermal paste, and then apply a CPU cooler on top.
Like, also, here's the thing, too. You have to remember this. He has other people helping him record this. So that means everyone who's helping on this project is just as ignorant. Like, nobody who's working on this project did any research whatsoever, nor have any of them clearly ever even touched a PC, nor watched a build guide, which is hilarious.
And we're just going to carefully lean it down into the system and make sure that everything lines up.
Also, I think his phone having the flashlight on is just a big testament to how, stupid this guy is. He's building this in a studio with studio lighting where, like, let's be honest. I mean, if you're going to put a computer together at home, you're normally doing it in the kitchen Or, like maybe, at your dining room table, like maybe you have an office that doesn't have carpet where you can put it together there. Maybe your shop. You don't have studio lighting in there. This dude has got studio lighting and apparently also needs his phone flashlight for something. Like, what? Oh yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not like I'm just like complaining that the cameraman should know anything about this. Like, it's funny that not even one person's like, I've watched a build, like a Linus Tech Tips video, and he didn't talk about this. Just it's weird that not one person was like, hey man, I don't think you're doing this right.
And we're going to clasp down on it and we'll be good to go.
All right.
So we're about to apply thermal paste to the CPU.
Oh, here we
The
go.
cooler actually comes with a bit of thermal paste already neatly applied in a circle around it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's usually not enough. It's
What? I mean, dude, this man is hopeless. Like, absolutely hopeless. It's usually not. Why the fuck would they put it on there then? What? That's like you going out and buying a Toyota Camry and being like, well, normally they give you a car, but the transmission's not included. What? My dude. Like, bless his heart, bro. Like, that's all I can say. Like it feels like I'm watching an 8-year-old try and make his first YouTube video. Like, bro, what? That it's normally not, it comes neatly applied and it's normally not enough. Need I say anything? Like, this dude is, what? A journalist? But it's normally not enough. Okay, just in case you don't know this, when you get like water coolers and some really nice air coolers, they'll come with CPU paste pre-applied. And it's exactly what it sounds like, pre-applied thermal paste, so you don't have to even think about it. You just slap it on there. Yeah. Normally, it's cheaper thermal paste, so normally in about a year, you want to at least take off your cooler and clean off the processor and re-thermal paste it. By the way, not a lot of people know this too, but if you've got a laptop or something and you haven't showed it some love in a while, I'd order some thermal paste for like $5 off Amazon, take it apart, take off the cooler and stuff, which again, even if it's a laptop, might sound difficult. It's not. I've done it to all my laptops. Shit. The last laptop that I had before the one that I sent to low spec Linux laptop, that one I took it apart and did the, what is it called, liquid metal on it, so that it would like never have a problem with cooling. About every 5 years at the very, very most, you want to re-paste your stuff because the paste will get dry and stuff. The ones that are sent on these are normally cheaper, so in about a year you want to go ahead and repaste it just to make sure there aren't any problems. You don't have to, but that's what I recommend to people who build their own computers. It not being enough is complete bullshit.
good, essentially PC building practice to have a little bit extra and layer it on top of.
No, it's a good PC building practice to just have some because you're not guaranteed thermal paste pre-applied to your shit. If you spend $120 on it, you could pretty much safely assume that it's going to come with thermal paste pre-applied because, well, you're spending a lot of money on it. So normally when you ball out on shit, you get the top tier, comes with all the extras that you could expect. But yeah, it's normally just good practice to have thermal paste because if you're building computers, I assume you already have computers too, or maybe you don't. But down the line, you're probably going to need it because it's called repasting your shit. It makes it last a lot longer. Yeah. Sources do trust me. Yeah, exactly what it is. More paste, better cooling. Oh, yeah. And we'll see this. Look at this. I mean, just look at that. Okay. Just so you guys, for those of you out there who don't know how to apply thermal paste, it is the simplest thing out there. Take a rice grain. Imagine the size of a rice grain. That's how much thermal paste you should apply. If you start putting thermal paste out. And again, thermal paste, like everybody thinks it's going to be like liquid metal is like what people think thermal paste is like, where you're going to press it and it's just going to shoot out all over the place. Like I've bought plenty of thermal paste in the past 5-6 years. In the past, that used to be a problem because some you would have to cut or the hole would be too small. But now it's gotten to the point where thermal paste manufacturers, they know what they're doing. They know how to make a quality tube of thermal paste. So it's going to come out slow because it's thick. It's not like liquid metal where it's going to shoot out. It's thick. So just put out a rice grain. If even for a second you think you have more than what a rice grain is, stop. You didn't put too much on. You're probably just right. A rice grain, maybe a little bit bigger, that's good. In there. This man is puts, like, apparently he's drawing a pentagram with thermal paste right now. He's going to summon Satan on his thing. And this, I mean, we still haven't even gotten to the point where he's still got he's got thermal paste pre-applied on his shit. So there's going to be so much on here.
The final portion is to add
Like, literally. What?
CPU cooler to the top end of the processor. So you're going to see that there are 4 brackets, or rather like screws.
All of the above. Just choose the type of rice you're most familiar with and roll with it. Trust me, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Now, if that changes, if you've spent $1,000 on your CPU and it's something like a Threadripper, 2 rice kernels. Like, I mean, if you look at your CPU and you go, this thing's effing massive, you should probably put 2 on there. But if you look at your CPU and you're like, oh, this is probably normal, or you look at it and you go, this looks like a square, don't put more than 1 on there. You're good. And what size of rice it is, doesn't matter. You're close enough. Good. You'll be fine.
Here with brackets and holders right here.
Oh my God. Just look at that. Like, what? Like, no lie. Like, there are girls' faces on Pornhub that look like that. What? That is so much. You just like spread it all over. Jesus, man.
And they're going to keep the cooler raised off the processor, but it's also going to be close enough to actually physically come in contact with it. Like, basically keep it cool. Take thumb screws like this and just screw them on. So now that our internals are done, we're going to put all the panels back on, which is the top glass, side glass, front glass, and of course the back panel where all of this fun stuff is happening.
Finally, we're done.
So we fully built the PC.
Look at that thing. All right, look. I have built computers for many people. My first 2 computers when I was that I built myself, like by hand, built myself. I believe the first one that I did was either 13 or 14. I may have even been 12. I'm not sure, but 12 to 14, somewhere in there. Built my first desktop computer. That first computer and the second computer that I ever built looked like that on the inside. That is the worst cable management that I have ever seen in my life. And it's not honestly like it's going to ruin performance in this case. It really doesn't look like it's so atrocious that it's going to ruin performance, but it looks like dog shit. Like, this case, I know this case. There is so much room on the other side of it. All he has to do is just tug on those cords and pull them back into the unused space, and this thing would look so much cleaner. But instead, he's just left them all just like slapped all in there. And look at the hoses for his cooler here. Like, they're going all over like this one's going over here, this one's going up and around. Like, dude, Jesus, like, just spend 5 minutes and like do a twist in them and put it up in the corner so it has, like, you know, like you can still see that the tubes are there, but they don't look like they're running all through your case crazy. Like, gee, but Jesus, man.
Everything's put together, and we got to the post screen. So what's next? Well, you need a USB flash.
According to this man, they plugged it all up, and the thing fucking booted. That, to me, is a testament to not this man, but the components that he put in this. If you are going to build your first computer, look at the component. I don't care if this is 5 years from now. Look at the components that this man put in this computer and buy them verbatim. No matter what, you can abuse the living shit out of all of them, and it will still turn on. Incredible. Incredible.
With your Windows installation media on it, and of course a license key. So I plugged that up, installed Windows in a couple of minutes.
Yes, we all need Windows.
Drivers, and now we have a fully
installed a bunch of drivers. Like, welcome to Windows land, bro. Have fun.
functioning gaming PC ready to run some games.
Yeah.
Right now I've got Arma 3 running at maximum settings, native resolution, which is 1080p
Maximum.
HD.
Maximum.
And it's running pretty smoothly. Like, I'm averaging 70 and 80 FPS, and this is normally like a very intensive game.
Yes. And now, so I don't know about Arma 3 at max settings, because at max settings, that game is super intensive. So I'm not sure whether or not he's getting the performance they should with that hardware in this game, because like literally on every piece of hardware I've had, even my 2080 Super, if I crank the settings on Arma 3 like maxed out, like it is really tough to get a high FPS on this game. If you're maxing out at even top end hardware, now that the 3090 is a thing, it's probably different, but it's really hard to get over 60 70 frames per second in this game
to run, and it's still doing a pretty good job. So right now I'm playing League of Legends. It's one of my favorite games.
Yes, like when you built the Mac Daddy of gaming computers, the one game that everyone is desperate to know will work on it is League of Legends. That's like building a $6,000 gaming computer and then playing Dota 2 as the performance test. The fuck is wrong with you? What?
I'm actually playing against a bot, and
he's not even playing online. Epic.
Doing so well, but otherwise, like, this is pretty much what you would see me do on a gaming computer: test stuff out, and hopefully have really high frame rates like I am right now. I'm averaging 120 FPS, and that's only because I've actually locked the game to that frame rate, because I can get around 300 FPS.
Dude, just spamming that mouse.
Settings, which is a little bit absurd, and you don't really need that, so I locked it. Building a gaming desktop has been a great experience. I'm able to max out a lot of my favorite titles.
It's been a stressful experience for me.
Upcoming titles like Battlefield 5 and Cyberpunk 2077 without worrying too much about the parts I have. When ray tracing GPUs come out, for example, I'll be able to upgrade without having to buy a completely new system. And if I have a problem down the line, I can always just swap out a part and have it serviced rather than losing my whole computer. And of course, now we also have a computer to test and benchmark games.
No, you should not be testing and benchmarking games on that thing. Jesus Christ, no. Holy hell, no. So yeah, that's the Verge's horrible PC build, and it is incredible. It is something else, man. That is very much wow. Just wow. So I booted happy ending, good video. Yeah. I can't believe he lost his job over that. I hope you caught the sarcasm in that. Like, I don't wish anybody to lose their job. Like, that's a bad thing. But it would be incredibly kind of the entire company if he kept his job. Like, his job title is a journalist, man. Like, bruh, dude, I'm not even a journalist, but a lot of the videos that I've made where I've been ignorant in them, I haven't been like that ignorant. Like, wow. Just like, normally when I'm ignorant about stuff, I like preface it, but like I've never gone gung-ho into something and act like I know what I'm doing when I have clearly no clue. Like, and here's something that we didn't even address while watching it. Did any of y'all see him use that thermal paste applicator? Because he didn't use it, and that to me is the best part. He literally didn't use that thing that I've never seen before. Also, never once used the Allen wrench. However, I did see him use throughout the entire video that stupid effing multi-tool that thankfully had, or excuse me, the way he put it, hopefully had a Phillips head screwdriver in it. Bruh. What? Yeah, and that is the prime example of why I don't respect Verge one bit and never will. Half the reason this whole thing blew up is how toxic he and the Verge were to any criticism of the video. Yes, and we can also dive in to there's a video that you can find of him talking shit with someone else. About how just everybody was, stupid, and how the video was like how he reacted to it. It is the one reason why I don't feel bad for him losing his job. Like, I just don't. I mean, I hope that all that situation and all that stuff going on forced him to grow up as a person, and hopefully he's doing better now. Socially, and everything. Hopefully he's just doing better, but yeah. Yeah, Peter. Yeah. His reaction to everyone else's reaction is pretty awesome. And also the Verge as the whole was also pretty not open to criticism as well. In the end, they were more accepting of it than he was, but yeah, not much. All right, I'm gonna go blow my nose really quick, and then we'll either keep talking, or I guess, we're getting pretty close. I might go eat here soon, so I'll go blow my nose, and then we'll wrap things up. All right. What kind of reaction other than deleting the video you need? Oh, well, actually, deleting the video wasn't necessarily the first thing that they really did. I'm pretty sure before deleting the video, The Verge actually defended it first. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. I'm not positive about it, but I'm pretty sure that's what they did. I know they didn't handle it the best way possible. That's for dang sure. But yeah, so that's going to be just about it for today's stream. And I am going to go have some pork chops. And I think my mom also made mashed taters, so that's going to be good. Some real southern stuff down here. All right, boys. Verge, Ed Booted. What more do you want? Preferably a build guide that doesn't end in most people. I hope all of you guys do freaking awesome. And if you want to be super dope, and let me just do my little advertisement here. If you want to support me, go check me out over on Patreon. I do some exclusive videos there. And now, I've said this in the past. My stuff is not necessarily behind like a paywall per se. If you want to go into my Discord and ask for the video, if Matt is sometimes in my Discord, I'm pretty sure, but Matt is my only patron right now. So if you want to, you can get in touch with Matt. Friendly, and don't spam him or annoy him, but you can try and reach out to Matt and see if he'll send you an exclusive video if you hear about one or want to watch one. If you go on there and see one you want to see and you don't want to pay for it, or you can't afford to pay for it, none of the videos on there it's like you have to be a patron to see. I'm not like that. Also, if you reach out directly to me and you just can't afford it and you really want to see one, I'll let you see it. Just Again, it's not like I'm trying to hide them. I just want to give rewards to the people who do support me, and it means a lot. So thank you guys. It's been great, and I'll see you. Wait, hold on. I'm not telling you that the video is behind a paywall, but you should pay to see it. It helps. It helps. You should. It's not that you should, but if you can, it's much appreciated. So thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.